All right, good morning. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Can I just get your name?
Kristen Sanderson.
All right, we're going to go ahead and begin. Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. For today is Friday, September 20th, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they've reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Nancy Turner, good morning.
Good
Also
morning.
present this morning are additional staff members of the Board of Pardons. Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Kristen Sanderson, 387-451.
Thank you. The hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kristen Sanderson, inmate number 387451. She is serving a sentence of 30 months for 1 count of conspiracy of criminal mischief second, 2 counts of larceny 4, and 1 count of violation of probation with larceny 4 as the underlying offense. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of August 31st, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows she has not completed any programs at this time. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment warrant, the offender's overall score for recidivity falls within the moderate range. Ms. Sanderson, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Okay. I've been in and out of the system for a couple of years now. And each time I came in, I can be honest, I was not ready. This time, for one, I'm getting too old to be doing this. And I have a plan when I get out, I'd like to actually succeed in doing therapy. In the past, I've been on and off with it because I didn't agree of doing it then, but I really want to get my mental health and my substance abuse under control because I'd like to go back to school for health information management. I'd like to be able to get a successful job. I used to work at ABH in the past with the medical billing and coding degree, and I'd like to get something along those lines back. It doesn't make an excuse. A lot of my history is due to domestic violence and sexual assault that's consistent with my substance abuse, but I'm ready to do the work that I have to do to get past that and be able to be a normal citizen again.
Okay. Thank you for your statement, ma'am. We do have questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today. Before we begin, Officer Boisver, I just want to clarify for the record, I have her Warner as a medium.
Oh. Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll begin the questioning with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Good morning, Ms. Sanderson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So I just want to get to all of this stuff that we're wrapped up in right now. So 2012, you had a failure to appear, and then you went all the way to 2022. What happened?
Again, a lot of my crimes were due to homelessness and substance abuse. They were all larcenies. The criminal mischief, I believe it stems from it was a burglary third. They talked it down to a lesser charge. That in return was breaking into an apartment complex and stealing the packages again for selling it for money. So everything was consistent around my substance abuse, which, as I said earlier, I'd like to be able to do what I need to do to get past that.
Okay. So did you have a period of clean time in there?
Not between 22 and 24, but before that, like I said, I worked at ABH and I had about 4 or 5 years clean then.
Yeah. When did you relapse?
I relapsed in 2022. About 6 months before I got arrested.
Okay. What were you doing? Were you doing anything during those 4 or 5 years to support yourself in terms of recovery?
I was working full time at the time. I had I had a place to stay. I was living in my own condo in Westlake in Middleton, Cromwell. At one point I was doing outpatient and I was doing individual therapy at the New Britain Counseling Center. I was doing more of like a relapse prevention group with the outpatient. Inpatient, no, outpatient, sorry.
Sure.
The
sure.
outpatient is individual therapy, I should say.
Have you ever connected with any other types of things in the community? It's like IOP, that stuff ends, and individual therapy, the sessions can be longer apart and stuff like that. Have
Right.
you ever connected with anything ongoing in the community?
Not in the last few years, because again, I've been under the influence, but I used to do community service. My mom worked for an elementary school. I used to help with the after-school program at that point. My mom had a friend that worked for Red Cross. He helped me do volunteer service there.
But nothing like AA, NA.
I've done NA,
recovery.
yes. I've done NA meetings, mostly in Middletown.
Okay, so did you go and then stop going, or something that you were doing right along?
Well, what had happened is when I was clean for the 4 years, I was going to the meetings for like before I even went to work. And then I had stopped, but I remained my sobriety for the rest of those 5 years. But part of that reason as well was because I was currently in a marriage with my ex-husband who was extremely violent and to me and to the kids every time I would leave the household. Where I got to a point where I had to leave my job and assign myself to disability, and thankfully got approved for that to minimize the abuse.
Okay. How about inside? Because we don't show any programming per se. Have you done anything while you've been in to come up with some support for substance use?
Aside from the MAT group that I'm mandated to go to, no. Because my OAP had nothing but a addiction referral, which I was told was for the outside. It's kind of why I didn't do any groups in here, but it's also because I have PTSD for mine is all female group, which is why I actually kind of prefer individual, but will do groups. That's why I said I'm trying to get over my PTSD with that. But in here, because of just how there's not really that confidentiality between inmates, it makes me very uncomfortable to do those groups in here because it doesn't stay in those groups. It becomes a way of torment and bullying with other inmates.
Are you engaged in MAT right now?
Yes, because I'm on methadone, so I need to be.
And so the groups that they have are how many times a month?
It's once a week, so 4 to 5 times a month. Every Thursday at 1.
And what kinds of stuff do you deal with in the group?
It just deals with sobriety, relapse prevention. It's mainly about co-occurring disorders and substance abuse. We do some paperwork. They ask questions to what our addiction is in the cycle, and basically get a handle on our sobriety.
Okay. So if you were released, what you told the parole officer was that you would stay busy, individual treatment and group treatment.
Right. Yes.
Is there anything else that you would do?
Well, again, I said I'd like to go back to school. I'd also like to be able to start trying to do work, at least part. I was on disability for a few years. Like I said, it was because of the abuse. So I would like to kind of start off with doing the groups and then maybe working part-time so I don't overwhelm myself. And then and then possibly do a part-time for schooling as well on top of the groups and everything.
But like other meetings in the community, like
DNA meetings, yes.
And then so you'd want to do that as well?
Yes, that's one of the reasons I also want to do that is because I've never allowed myself to get a sponsor. Like I kind of just always try to manipulate the system in a sense. And right now it's not getting me anywhere, and it's time to grow up. So I'd like to utilize it the way you're supposed to.
And how about, have you ever heard of CCAR?
Yes. I've heard about it in groups, but it's not anything I've actually attended. Actually, I was in the App Foundation last year, and that's where I heard about it. They came to visit the program.
So I know that you want to go to a halfway house in Hartford if you can.
Mhm.
CCAR also has a recovery community center in Hartford.
Yes,
And that's important. I mean, that connection, I think.
would be
I mean,
perfect.
what I'm hearing from you is you have a desire. And that makes sense, and you're doing the right things, you're not getting any DRs, you're dealing with MAT and you're going to complying with the weekly meetings that you go to, and things like that, but it's like to stay clean in there and to stay clean out here are like two different things,
Right,
right?
yes,
So it's just important that out here, you put in place, what you need to put in place in order to stay stopped. And when you stay stopped, the larcenies don't happen and the burglary thirds don't happen,
correct,
right?
right,
So, and then you can get on with the other stuff that you're looking to do,
yes.
right?
Which is why I wanted to start off with the outpatient and then work my way to the individual therapy. So I'm always connected to therapy. Even when life gets too busy with jobs or school or whatever, I'm still seeing that therapist once a week, once I'm finished and completed either PHP or IOP. I like to start off at the max because obviously when I come out, I'm gonna have a lot of free time. And I don't want too much free time because boredom is also a trigger for me as well. So I'd like to really get myself set up into, so I got them set up with the reentry center for case management and everything else as well.
So
That's in
you've done
Hartford.
that. You was
Yes, I
connected
signed up
with,
for that. I'm on the waiting list for that, yes. I also got my ID, my state ID and my birth certificate while I was in here. And they told me that I wasn't close enough to my EOS to be able to obtain the social security card yet, but I got the other two now.
okay. That all makes sense. The boredom, that trigger, right?
Mhm.
You find some meetings to put in there.
Right. Right. Well, that's what I said. I'm trying to make changes and do things the right way instead of doing them the wrong way and hoping it's different this time.
Right.
But it's
I mean,
also,
I'm hearing it. I'm hearing not just lofty ideas, but I'm hearing
Right.
things that you're actually concretely putting in place.
yes,
Things lined up to actually do, rather than just conjecture. It's
right.
right.
And may I just add that the reason why I chose just the Hartford Halfway House is just because my entire support system is there. My mother has her own business in New Britain. My fiance is from that area. And a lot of the outpatient programs that I do feel comfortable with that I've done in the past are in the Hartford area as well. And that's where I'd be setting up my lifestyle once I'm off parole or during parole. So I like to kind of not start off in, let's say, New Haven when I'm going to end up living in the Hartford area regardless.
Yeah. So, last question. Do you have outside clearance?
No, I never applied for anything for outside clearance.
No?
No. I did it, again, the job thing, which is why I said I wanted to do part-time because sometimes, like I said, I get bored quickly and being in here, the environment with working is totally different than the environment of working on the outside.
Right.
And I have a friend, matter of fact, who's here, who is on outside clearance, and they have a problem of not even calling her to go to work. They're basically just paying her to just not go to work, which is like cleaning the lobby, etc. So I'd rather be working and not just getting up at 11 o'clock at night to just twiddle my thumbs, so to speak.
So, so do you have a job at all?
No, I had a job in the kitchen. I was working in the kitchen. I was working in commissary.
Okay.
And I have bad knees. That's why I'm a medical bottom. And I had broke my coccyx bone a few years ago. So commissary was too much with standing, and so was main dining. That's partially why too I want to go back to school so I could have more of a desk job and maybe just work the part-time before that. And like, even if I have to stand, but at least it's just part-time. It's not too much for me during the week.
Okay. I'm going to pass it on, see if other board members have questions.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Thank you. How long did you hold the kitchen and commissary jobs, Ms. Sanderson?
The kitchen, I believe, was 3 or 4 months. And the commissary job was about the same.
Okay. So I do want to clarify for the record, your OAP and the addiction services referral is solely for programs in the facility. Does not follow you out to the community.
Okay, I was never told that. That's why I hadn't even tried doing it.
Well, you signed it, and if you read it, it literally speaks about programs in the facility. But
it said addiction referral on the, I'm sorry. It said
addiction services referral. Yeah.
Right.
For,
and then when I
that's
asked
for programming on the inside. But I do understand, you said you were uncomfortable with doing groups, but I'm a little confused because then you talk about doing NA meetings, doing the MAC groups. The MAC groups have multiple people and you're sharing, no? What's the difference?
Because I'm not really verbally sharing in those groups. I'm doing the homework and the paperwork that's there, but with the girls, I'm opening up to what I feel comfortable to, but not that I would feel comfortable to do on the outside. It's more of a relation with the other people in the group that I can relate to. Is not actually getting down to the core problems that I would feel more comfortable doing on the outside.
Okay, have you had any contact with your co-defendant?
No.
Any plans to be together, reconcile?
No, because I've also come to terms with the fact that that relationship is also self-sabotaging as well. He's an addict. He's currently in addiction. And I've just made a decision that in order for me to maintain my sobriety and maintain what I need to do, it's in my best interest to stay away from that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so why do you think that your opportunities at community programming in the past have failed? Probation, releases.
Again, I wasn't ready to correct myself yet. Like I said, I don't know. I wasn't ready to stay sober. I was still young-hearted in terms of getting in trouble and impulsive behavior. And now that I'm getting older now, and I've also been here a longer period of time than I'm used to. So I've had more time to get stabilized on my medication, really have my own thought process and really think about the things that I wanted to get done to make myself, like I said, a normal citizen on the outside.
Yeah. You were homeless for a long time. Have you ever maintained your own place on your own?
I did when I was working at ABH before I had relapsed. Like I had said, I had my own condo in Westlake.
And you lived alone?
Yes, but I had my daughters at the time, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I understand you don't have contact with them at all?
No, the reason why they actually even got taken away was because I chose to try to get back into a marriage that was the same marriage that was abusive. And he had moved to Maryland, and I asked my mom to to watch them while I went down there and try to fix the marriage. And she filed for temporary custody because she didn't feel it was safe for them to be in his care, which I understand now. So that's why the kids were taken. It wasn't because of drug addiction or anything like that. I was still clean at the time when that was taking place.
All right, Ms. Turner?
Ms. Sanderson, can you clarify for us your fiance? How long have you been together?
We have been together for 4.5 years.
And this is Mr. Hyman?
Yes, and I cut my ties recently with him as of like a couple of months ago, honestly.
Okay, well, you just represented that he was part of your support network.
No, I'm with somebody else now, though. That's a totally different relationship. I'm not with that same person anymore.
Well, I just asked you who your fiance was and how long you've been together, and you said 4.5 years.
Right, but I'm talking about that's a new relationship that I've had rekindled with somebody else while I was in here as a support. Yeah, that was somebody that I've known from the outside that's had my best interest, that I have just used as a friend.
Do you remember being interviewed by Officer Bosford?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
Last week.
Okay, because you told him you're currently in a relationship with Mr. Hyman and you've been together 4.5 years.
Yes.
And then you denied that he was your co-defendant, but of course, that's in the police report.
I didn't know he was put in the court. That was never announced to me at the courthouse. I never thought
Well, he got
had
a sentence. He got a lighter sentence than you, but he was sentenced for the
Yeah,
same.
but he got sentenced way after I was even out of here. I came out, went to the App Foundation, and then I went to stay at the Mercy House. And part of the violation in the FTA of that was because within like a week of me being at the Mercy House, the methadone clinic told me I had a back balance that I had to pay for, and I had just gotten out of jail. I have no income, and they had told me they would not dose, hence which is why I had relapsed and picked up new charges.
For 2 seconds,
Yes,
because I'm
please.
so confused. I asked you a minute ago if you were still with your co-defendant, if you were planning to be together, and you said no, you cut ties. Who
That's
did you
what I
think I
just
was
said.
referring to?
James Hyman.
Okay.
I cut ties recently to him.
Okay.
Like what
But you
did
said
Recently, within a week, because of the interview.
Right.
You just said you cut ties a few months ago.
I hadn't been speaking to him on the phone. I didn't physically tell him that it was the end of the relationship as of that point a couple months ago. I had just started to push myself off and away from him and not giving him any sense of the relationship until I made a complete decision on what I wanted to do. Recently, I had told him I just couldn't do it. Parole is visiting with Bolfer kind of gave me a realization that that is something I needed to do when I had left.
Yeah, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, so you know that as the co-defendant, we're going to stip that you, if you're granted, cannot have contact with him.
I understand. And it's in my best interest, like I said.
So Ms. Sanderson, I guess, you know, with your life challenges between the victimization and the homelessness and the drug addiction and the mental health issues, you know, and that you really haven't taken full advantage of programming there in the facility. And I know you were only sentenced in April. Kind of a red flag for me is that you're talking about starting up a new relationship. I'm wondering if you can explain to us what your priorities are.
My priority with that relationship right now is
No. Your
what?
priorities in life.
My priorities in life is to be able to become this regular, normal citizen by going to work on a daily basis, having housing, being able to take care of myself and not rely on others, and continue to maintain that I'm sober so that I don't put myself in these situations again.
What that sounds like to me are your goals.
Okay.
And so I'm interested in your priorities of all the things that you have to manage when you come out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
How do they rank in your mind?
My priorities are high because
Can I finish the question?
I'm sorry. I apologize, ma'am.
If I'm interested in how, in your mind, you rank all of these issues and responsibilities that you need to address in order to be that normal, regular citizen you've talked about.
Yes.
So, you know, you come out to a halfway house and like, where are you going to put your focus? What are your priorities? What's number one?
Number one is to go into outpatient therapy, whether it's PHP, IOP, OP, relapse prevention. And from there, I'd like, once I finish that program, I'd like to go into individual therapy on a weekly
Okay,
basis.
so your recovery efforts are number one.
Right.
What comes after recovery?
After recovery comes getting some type of a part-time job, so I have some type of income to be able to establish some type of a bank account, so I have a nest egg for when I'm out of the halfway house to be able to start with some type of housing, whether I have a program I'm involved with housing. I still have something on my behalf and not put my eggs in one basket. And then eventually, once I get comfortable and it doesn't feel like it's overwhelming to start school, I'd like to go to school part-time afterwards because, like I said, I'd rather be able to get a job like I used to have at AVH.
And by school, you mean working to get your GED?
Well, yes, I have to get I had my high school, this is the weird thing, I had my high school diploma and that's how I got my medical billing degree afterwards. It was special ed. I had to, I forgot what her name was, but she was the lady that was the head of the Department of Education for the state of Connecticut.
Where did you graduate?
Berlin High School, but it was a special ed school. It was called the CAPS program in West Hartford.
What year was that?
2001.
That's great that you've got that foundation. So in that list, I didn't hear mental health therapy. Was that part
The
of?
mental health that was
Your
considering
recovery.
was part of the substance abuse. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Let me stop.
I have no more questions for Ms. Sanderson.
Thank you. Give us some time to discuss your case. You can listen to our deliberation and we'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Mr. Pohl.
So Ms. Sanderson has a 30-month flat sentence. She has no disciplinary reports. She engaged in eviction services through the MAT program. Is going to frequent meetings. Certainly she has some things to work on. I think one of the things that I'm most concerned about is stability. She has, if we have a halfway house in the works here, she has about a year before the absolute end of sentence. You know, she does have, through all the questioning that's gone on, she does have the need to get into the community, connect with treatment, and continue to move forward. She has had some financial support in the past. She wants to supplement that, I believe, with part-time work and get back to a place where she once was, you know, 4 to 5 years of her life in the past 10 years, where she's tried to put things together and has been somewhat successful. I think that the most important thing for me is a leg up. And for that reason, I would support parole in this case.
Thank you. So after Ms. Sanderson's presentation here today, I'm not convinced that she's ready to go back out to the community. I think I heard a lot of excuses, some minimization. And to be honest, I don't think she was being honest with us herself. There's no doubt she needs the help, but I really do wish that she did more. She could have done more during this incarceration. It's a shame that we have a flat sentence here because she needs a lot of help, and she could have used some probation to follow. That's where I stand. Ms. Turner?
I agree with you and share your concerns. I think she's minimized, she's justified, and I think flat out manipulated. So that's not going to get her very far in life.
Right.
So, you know, the priorities seem to be clear in her mind, and the support to get on the right track, I think, is the appropriate thing. It's very disappointing that, you know, she could be sentenced back in April and have had no programming other than MAT in that time. But my vote is to grant.
Okay, I have a halfway house, no codependent, mental health eval, and no alcohol. Is there anything else or different?
I didn't have anything else.
No.
Okay. In the matter of Kristen Sanderson, inmate number 387451, I'll move to grant parole. What is today's date? Effective September today, on or after September 20th, 2024. With the following condition, deal parole to a halfway house. You're to have no contact with your co-defendant, James Hyman. You'll participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary, and you are not to consume alcoholic beverages. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Do you have any questions?
No, and I appreciate it. I can understand your thoughts as well and your concerns. I can honestly say that. I do have a history of manipulation, but I can assure you that I'm not trying to disappoint. And I've just been through a lot. I'm just trying to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
Just don't disappoint yourself.
Right,
Right.
it's gonna be hard work, but you know, keep at it and use your parole officer as a resource as well, okay? In addition to all of the other services.
C-car.
Yes,
Recovery
I'll
coach.
work on that.
Okay.
I
good
like
luck to
their
you.
pens. Thank you very much.
This concludes the hearing. Kristen Sanderson, PA7. Morning, can we get your name, please?
Hi, good morning. I'm Glorian Terry.
Perfect, we'll be with you in 1 second.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Royce. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members present this morning by stating your name by stating their names on the record, certified and reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Lake Pool.
Nancy Turner, good morning.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Good morning. My name is Glorian Terry, inmate number 367606.
Thank you. Also present today are additional staff members from the board. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Glorian Terry, inmate number 367606. She is serving a sentence of 7 years suspended after 3 years probation for 1 count of sales of narcotics and 2 counts of failure to appear first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date August 3rd, 2024. There's no victim to put in the case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows that the offender is completed tier 1 and tier 2. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment, one of the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Terry, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I believe I should be granted parole because I believe I'm a changed person. I believe that I'm not the same person that I was when I came in. I have opened up and not just opened up, I have taken accountability for not only realizing I was hurting myself, but I was also hurting other people by distributing drugs and using them. I can't make any excuses as to why I was doing that because it was wrong. By taking the programs that I have taken, I have utilized all the tools, and I think I'm like prepared to take on certain situations when triggers arrive and when like situations arise and how I'm going to stay clean. I believe I'm just a different person, and I think that I've worked really hard.
Okay. Thank you for your statement, Ms. Terry. We have some questions for you and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You mentioned triggers. What are your triggers?
My triggers are money. My triggers are going to the methadone clinic every day, which right now I am transitioning over to Sublocade. And I also have triggers being in the same environment that I was. Living situation. So I'm prepared to change my living area.
Okay, where do you plan to live?
I was going to go to a sober house. However, I changed my mind. I'd like to go to a Hartford halfway house and take baby steps instead of just going into just a huge amount of freedom. That's what I do.
Where do you plan to live after the halfway house?
After the halfway house, I plan on going back to Norwich.
Just curious, why did you waive your community release, the halfway house with DOC?
I didn't, she put me back on. My counselor put me back on. I didn't.
Okay, so you were gonna go to a sober house, then you changed your mind and now you're back on the list for community release?
Yes, I am.
Got it, understood. Okay, so the officer mentioned that you took tier 1 and tier 2. Tell us what else you've been doing in the facility.
Okay, I've been working at commissary, since May of last year. And I have
May of
also.
23?
May of 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I apologize. I've also been attending, AA meetings, which are held once a week for a duration of 1 hour. NA meetings are held once a week for a duration of 1 hour. I have taken Smart Recovery, which is like a group based on recovery questions, but like in a fun way. So games, trivia. What else have I done? I have anger management, which was twice a week for an hour each time. God, I've done so much. Let's see, tier 1, 2.
Did you mention that you're in the MAT program? No.
I am in the MAT program, yes.
Okay.
I'm in the MAT program. I was up to 70 milligrams. I'm down to 30, almost 30 now. I'm at 40.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to talk about the details. We
Okay.
don't understand that stuff anyway. That's confidential information. So it really does appear that you're trying, right? You're really involved there and you're staying out of trouble as evidenced by your lack of disciplinary reports. And you are participating in whatever they're making available to you. So that's great. So let's talk about when you go back to the community. What are your plans for relapse prevention and continued recovery when you go back to the community?
Okay, I have a case manager, her name's Elma Martinez, and she is going to hook me up. She will refer me to adult reentry program, which is at the Wheeler Clinic, and they do the psychiatric portion of my mental health as well as IOP and therapy groups once a week.
Where is the case manager at Wheeler Clinic?
No, the case manager is someone they refer through here, through the Department of Corrections.
Oh, you have a current case manager who's going to
Yes.
refer you to these things. Okay.
Yes. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to do. The other thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I attend like at least one meeting every day for the next year, because that worked for me in the past. And I stayed clean for almost 3 years. I'm also going to find employment. And
Any job leads? What do you want to do for work?
I've been looking on the Honest app on the tablet, and there's a lot of customer service retail. There's a couple Amazon jobs that I'd like to apply for. There's a FedEx. There is Staples. So there's
all good companies. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
There's a couple things I've been looking at, and I just I want to be prepared so that when I do leave, I can just get a hold of them, you know, put my resume up on Indeed, file a resume with them and contact them. So, and I'll keep looking until the day that I leave. So for more current.
Yeah. Okay. I did note in your file, I saw you were pursuing a nursing degree.
Yes.
Do you plan to resume that when you're in the community? It sounds like you're pretty close.
Yes, actually I am. I plan on redoing all my prerequisites and kind of starting a little bit over halfway. the refresher courses.
Okay. Why do you need to take the classes over if you already have the credits?
Oh, it's refresher skills because I've been out of
Oh,
the field for quite some time now, so.
Okay. All right, and are you in contact with your adult children?
Yes, I am. I just became a grandma a month ago.
Okay, a new
Yeah.
grandma.
Yeah, a new grandma.
Well, I really do hope this is it for you. At 44 years old, it's time to leave it all behind you. And it sounds like right now you're motivated. In the years you mentioned that you were clean for some time, did you have a sponsor?
I did, yes.
You
Yes,
plan to get
and-
another sponsor?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm actually was thinking about, calling my old sponsor to see if she would sponsor me again, because I'm going back to an area where it's fairly close to her, about an hour, so.
All right, thank you for speaking with me. Ms. Turner?
Thank you.
Ms. Terry, one of the things that you didn't mention was that you did grief and loss.
Yes,
And that's really important because I read that, what contributed to your relapse was the death of your father.
yes,
Sorry that, going through that is never easy. But, as an adult, it's important to have resiliency because, loss is a part of life, isn't it?
yes, it is.
And, you can't give away the store because you're, feeling the intensity of the grief. You have to be able to push through it and honor your loved one.
Right.
But, at 44, more and more, I think, as we get older, loss becomes a part of life. So being able to cope with that is really important. Tell me about your relationship. So you have a significant other?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
So I read that person has had some drug problems and some drug convictions. So, as you come out with new goals in mind and a new mindset and a commitment to your recovery, how does that person fit in with this picture?
Okay, so my significant other right now is in a sober house. She just finished a 30-day program, and she was in a sober house prior to that, had a minor relapse again. But however, the most important thing here is that she is my significant other. I love her very much, but we are going to do our recovery separate. I'm gonna do my recovery. She's gonna do her recovery because in the past we've learned that trying to do it together just doesn't work. So I have to do my recovery. She does hers. I'm gonna go to the halfway house, the sober house, have my job. She's gonna live wherever she's gonna live, and whatever comes up for me, I'm gonna live. And as the time goes by and we stay clean, then we're gonna see what happens from them.
Well, I'm glad that you've talked it through with her because,
Yes,
if she's not in a good place, she could easily pull you down
Right.
with her.
I
So,
still
vice
talk.
versa.
Yes, sorry, apologies.
Well, Ms. Terry, if you're granted today, you'll have a period of time with a parole officer. And this is somebody who has access to programs and services to help you, whether it's housing, education, employment, but it's all in how you go into the relationship. This isn't just somebody who's going to hold you accountable, but they want you to be successful and they can help you do so if you work with them. And you need to talk to them before you make decisions that have consequences. When you start to worry or you find yourself triggered or, feeling stressed, talk to your parole officer. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
Thanks for talking with me. Thank you, Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Mr. Paul. Okay, give us a few minutes to talk about your case and we'll give you our decision shortly, okay?
Thank you very much.
So it appears that Ms. Terry is on a positive path here. She's done the work. She's taken good programs. She hasn't received any disciplinary reports. She has a pretty strong release plan. And my vote would be to grant today. Ms. Terry?
I agree.
All right. So we have a halfway house and mental health eval. Is there anything, Chris?
Right.
All right. In the matter of Glorian Terry, inmate number 367606. I'll move to grant parole on or after September 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. You'll parole to a halfway house and you'll participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much.
Right. Keep
Have a
working on
good day.
yourself, okay? You too.
Thank you.
This very 6 seconds.
Good morning.
Morning. Within 1 second.
Okay.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. This hearing today, Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members present this morning by stating the names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutory required documents available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Zamini.
Good morning, Michael.
Nancy Turner.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Good morning. My name is Angelica Quintana. And what else you said?
Your inmate number, please.
392619.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Angelica Quintana, inmate number 392619. She is serving a sentence of 28 months for 1 count of larceny second, 1 count of larceny third, 1 count of threatening second, 1 count of failure to appear second, 2 counts of failure to appear first, and 1 count of violation of probation, failure to appear first as the underlying offense. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 19th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is a offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows she's completed Tier 4 in the intensive aftercare program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Board, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
The reason why I think I should be granted parole is because I held myself accountable for the things I did. I know that the things that I did were not correct. And the time that I spent here, I've had time to think about all those things, and being in the Maryland Baker program has helped me deal with things that I've been through in life even as a child, to deal with my anger and deal with, trauma that I had. And I think that I can go out into society and I can be able to be a productive member of society without doing the things that I've done in the past, like dealing with the things that I've done in violent ways or in angry ways. I think that I've gotten skills and coping skills to be able to deal with how I feel.
Thank you, Ms. Quintana. Thank you for your statement. We have questions for you, and when we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Turner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your opening statement. I read the report that Officer Rossford prepared after he interviewed you. And I know that you said at the time that you need to accept responsibility for your actions. And as you said here this morning, you hold yourself accountable. However, the details of the offenses that you were involved in, you seem to go out of your way to minimize responsibility. You know, the cars that you had that had been reported stolen, you said you borrowed, you were going to return. It's not borrowing if you don't have permission. And the incident where you threatened to beat your own mother, you said that never happened. You weren't making threats of any sort. So I want to back up and ask you to explain specifically what you take responsibility for and how you hold yourself accountable.
Well, you're right. So I feel that certain things that I've said, I guess in my brain didn't happen a certain way. It was just my side of the story. I mean, their side of the story. I think my side, what I said, but I was wrong. Yes, I did take people's vehicles without permission, and I guess I made it. I wanted to make myself feel like I was. All right, let me start over. So I'm accountable because I know I did it and I was wrong. And maybe I wanted to make myself look better at the time when I said what I said and make it look less than what it was. But we all know that I got convicted for these charges and I made a mistake and I did the wrong thing. So at times, I guess I'm ashamed of the things that I did. So it's a little bit embarrassing saying it, especially to you guys. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I know what I did was wrong. I know I shouldn't ever threatened my mother. I know I should have never took the vehicles I took without permission. And I think deep down inside, I do hold myself accountable and I'm ashamed of it. And I know the people out there that I did those things to are you know, hopefully not holding a grudge towards me and are like upset with me because the things I did were wrong. So I do take accountability.
Right. Well, that's good to hear, because oftentimes with the interview with the parole officer, it's deny, minimize, justify, all of that. And then you come to the hearing and all of a sudden you're accountable and fully responsible. But what was interesting in your case is both things were going on during your interview with the parole officer. So I'm reading how, you know, you didn't do these things and then you know, say that you're turning a leaf and holding yourself responsible and accountable. So I'm glad that we've gotten some clarity on that. And,
Yeah.
you know, what I would say to you, Ms. Quintana, is it's okay to feel ashamed because when you own it, that's going to help influence the choices that you make down the road, because it's an uncomfortable feeling and you don't want to feel that again. So, you know, if you allow yourself to experience it, then you learn from it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've gotten through that. I know that you haven't taken the Voices program, and I'm not sure how much victim impact is addressed in the Marilyn Baker program, but I'd like to hear from you how you think you impacted, and let's start with the people whose vehicles you stole. How do you think you impacted them and the broader society that you want to be a productive member of?
Right. Well, when it happened, I mean, to go back to that moment when I was doing that, they were upset, they were hurt. They felt like I betrayed them. They thought they could trust me. I mean, I took their vehicle that was a brand new vehicle that they still had car payments on that, you know, they worked hard for. So I felt like it affected them a lot. They probably didn't think they were even going to get their vehicle back. I think it just was a big impact actually on them.
You know, and more than just an inconvenience, I'm glad that you tapped into some of the, you know, the betrayal, the hurt. Because you took the car keys out of your friend's pants pocket and absconded with the vehicle. So, that does a lot of damage. And the other individual, it was, like two people removed who owned the car and was able to get it back. And thankfully, it wasn't wrecked. So, and then these kind of things have a broader societal impact in terms of, there was a lot of wasted resources from law enforcement trying to track down and return these stolen motor vehicles, but also, it impacts insurance rates in our state, and then everybody ends up paying for it. So, okay. So where do things stand with your relationship with your mom? Have you ever actually apologized to her?
Yes, me and my mom talk almost every day on the phone. Again, I was ashamed and embarrassed to even start that conversation. I didn't know for a while. I didn't know how to call my mom and talk to her. To be honest, me being in the groups and just talking about things that have happened to me in the past, or that just kind of opened me up a little bit to be able to speak to her, because I felt like she wasn't going to forgive me, because I know that I've done things in the past. These cases that I have, some go back to 2012, and my mom has always been there by my side, and also my father, my family. They're very supportive. My children are also affected in the situation, and my mom, if it was just, what was the question again? I'm sorry. I lost where I was going with it.
Whether you've apologized to your mom and the state of
Okay.
your current relationship. Okay.
So,
What about your sister? Because she got involved in actually
Yes.
being the one to call police. And I'm
Mhm.
sure you were unhappy about that, but your sister was also concerned for her mom's safety. So
Right.
where do things stand with your sister?
we speak almost probably like maybe once a week. She's very busy. She works, she has kids, but she also texts me on the tablet. I have apologized to both of them. I have apologized a lot to all my family because of the things I've done. And my mom does forgive me. I mean, we speak every day. I still feel hurt and ashamed. I know she's really hurt. It's not about me. I know she's still hurt, and I know she forgives me, but I know that she sees now that, when I speak to her, my mindset is different. She knows that I accomplished a couple of things here and I worked on myself. So I feel like that, she's willing to work with me, and she loves me. And I think we're
But
going
there
okay.
will be a process that the trust in the relationship has to be rebuilt.
Right. I feel like when I
because
get out,
she was afraid of you.
right. And I feel like when I get out there, I feel like, I know parole is probably going to have restrictions on me being able to see mom if I do get out. I mean, she's willing, she wants to work on it, and I also want to work on it. So I think
But you're
that,
very fortunate.
and
You're
I
very
know.
fortunate that she can forgive you. What did she find in your room when she was cleaning it that set you off?
To be honest, I don't remember, probably something to do with drugs, I would say.
Oh, I think it was definitely something to do with drugs.
Probably
I just
paraphernalia.
expected you to be a little bit more specific.
A lot
I
of
think
things
there were
have,
some pills that you were looking for that you freaked out when they weren't there.
oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, because I also was doing other drugs, but I mean, it could have been, yeah. I knew it was something to do with drugs.
Yeah.
Yes, I was that.
And I read at one point, one of the cars you stole, you justified it because you were going to buy drugs. Yeah. And,
So
if
embarrassing.
you'd chosen to, sure, but if you'd chosen to use them and then drive home, that
Something
could have
could
had
happen.
really serious consequences. Because we make the decision about whether you're suitable to finish your sentence out in the community in light of the interests of public safety.
Correct.
So that's why that's under consideration. Do you know why you got a flat sentence?
For Rockville?
For
All
all
of
of
them?
the crimes that you're serving now, you got 28 months flat. Do you know why you didn't get any supervision? Did you?
I feel like it's because probably I haven't done really well on probation, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I successfully, when I did it, the jail incarcerated in 2012 or 15, I know I did parole, but that was community release. I did that, but after that, probation didn't go good. No, I know.
Why do you think you struggled on probation?
Running from things that I did that I was ashamed of instead of facing them and learning how to deal with them. I don't think I had the skills. I wasn't equipped at the moment. I feel like I was, but I was weak. I feel that I used drugs and I did things that were incorrect because I just felt
You didn't want to be accountable.
I didn't want to be accountable, and I felt like I didn't want to go up and do the right thing. I wanted to run from it because I was afraid. And being afraid and running from things, it's never going to stop if I don't put my foot down and start being
Right.
accountable and trying to face these things. It's going to just turn into a ripple effect of just horrible things that are never going to end until I end up in jail.
Right.
Or
And
God forbid,
running
something else.
is exhausting
It is.
because you're
It is.
constantly looking over your shoulder because you know the boom's got to be lowered. So what did you learn from all these opportunities? Or let me rephrase that. What did you learn from your decision repeatedly not to show up to court when you had matters to deal with?
To be honest, as soon as I don't do it and not go to court, I know. I mean, it's the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling in the world because I know what's right and wrong. My parents taught me right. I mean, I know it's wrong. And I say, you know, I just think that at those moments, I just think that, you know, not that I'm above the law or rules, but it's like I didn't care enough, but I did care. I know in reality I really did. I knew what was going to happen, and it was just like a mixture of just me doing whatever I wanted to do and looking for drugs and just not caring. It's just.
Well, and it never pays off, right?
No, well, that was the answer. Yeah, it just sitting here and for the time I've been here, I definitely the choices that I made were horrible, and I could have made better choices, and that's what I plan to do, and I am doing.
Well, you know, to your credit, Ms. Quintana, you have only the one DR.
Yes.
And, you know, you admitted you knew what you were doing was a violation of the rules and you did it anyway. And you've completed some important programs that are really gonna help you be that productive member of society, help you with getting your life on the right path. You're still rather young. So did I read that you're working on earning your GED?
Yep, I'm doing credit diploma. This should be my last semester. I'm at like 22.75 credits, so this should be the last one.
Okay.
And I'm also doing the CDL.
Yeah, I
I've
did
had-
read about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So if you were granted parole, since you're past your eligibility date, it would be on or after, and of course they have to identify an appropriate halfway house placement for you. How would you finish that program to earn your high school diploma?
So I did want to touch on that real quick because I had a different plan. I mean, I know I spoke to Boysford about halfway house or maybe a sober house or maybe dad's house. I don't know if that's in there. But me and my dad we talk also every day. And my mom and my dad speak. They're divorced, but we're all, you know, in contact. And me and my dad have decided maybe if you guys would allow or parole would allow me going to a sober house. It's my dad said he would be able to help pay because he wants to make sure he has my children at the moment. So he wants to make sure that, you know, I'm doing the right things and, you know, give me some time to show him so that way I can be able to, you know, reunite with my kids and do the right thing and be able to take care of them. So he's willing to help pay. He said whatever amount of months it needs that parole would like to show on a receipt. I have the number of the person for the sober house and he's, you know, willing to, you know, help also communicate with you guys. And from there, you know, I'll be in a sober home. I'll be doing, you know, meetings. I'll be doing meetings out in the public. They would want me to get employment. I would definitely be doing the CDL school. It's called the WIOLA grant in New Britain. The school is called 160. My CDL instructor now is helping me situate all that stuff. So if I do get out, he's going to tell me how to get it and where to go. And I would just plan to be doing my sober home, doing everything that I have to do for myself recovery wise. definitely do an intensive outpatient program for myself. I feel like I definitely need that therapy, maybe one-on-one besides the the intensive outpatient. And
So
then,
Ms. Quintana, you
yes,
got a lot on your plate.
I know, but I know that I can do it. I know I can do it. I'm
Okay.
happy. And I,
You know, so the original question was about finishing your high school diploma.
so
And it kind of got lost in the mix there. And I just, you know, I pointed out because I don't want it to get lost in
Not
your
me
life
either.
priorities when you're back in the community. Primarily because you need to show your children that you value in education so that they will continue with theirs. It's a
Correct.
foundation to build the rest of your life off of, and that is important for your children as well.
I agree. So what I
Okay.
did was, when I first got here, I did apply for school. So I think I should be finishing it. And if I don't, I mean, I've worked, after I had my children, it was hard for me to go for adult education, but as they got older, my mom helped me watch them so I can go to adult education. So I have a little bit of adult education credits on my transcript. So I should be finishing. If not, then I'll take the last course out there, but that's definitely something that I've been working on and I know I really want to accomplish. So I agree with you on that, definitely.
Good, good. All right. Well, I certainly wish you much success. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Paul? So I did want to ask you, do you have a valid driver's license?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And hopefully you can save money to get your own car and stop taking other people's. Why weren't you working? Why have you not worked while you're out in the community?
Well, after I had my children, I was taking care of my kids, but
Okay.
I was definitely a full-time mom. I was a single mom. I have four small children under the age of 10
Okay,
right now. So
yeah.
doing a lot of that was happening. And I don't know, just
What about when you were, before
younger.
that? Yeah, when you were younger, did you hold any jobs?
I had a couple jobs, yeah, but after that, I think the drug situation kind of took over and I was seeking the wrong things.
So were your parents supporting you through that all financially?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds like your parents have done a lot for you. Right? I
I'm
hope
very-
you appreciate that.
I'm very grateful and I know,
Yeah.
yes, I know. It's
Yeah.
still embarrassing to me.
Four kids is a lot, right? To
Yeah.
take care of. We all know that.
And
Yeah.
my dad,
So,
my dad has them now. He's helping me here. Like he sends me money here and I hate that he does that because I know he's helping me with my kids. It's a lot. I know it's a lot
yeah,
more than on me. It's a lot on everybody else. Everybody else
Right.
got affected
right.
because of what I've done. So
Yeah.
it's going to be hard for me to, go out there to face it. But I feel that
You can go out there now and make everybody proud by turning it
That's
all
what I'm-
around and doing positive
exactly.
things. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Give us a few minutes to discuss your case and you can listen to our deliberation. We'll get back to you shortly with our decision.
Okay. Thank you all.
Ms. Turner?
And you do have the rest of your life to repay
Right.
your parents
Yeah.
for their kindness and generosity. So. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised by Ms. Quintana today. She's clearly very personable, and I think she's turned the important corner of accepting responsibility.
Yeah.
And she actually seems to appreciate what that means, and not just hearing the platitudes. And she struggles, as I think it's appropriate emotionally with reconciling her behavior and her treatment of other people. I think that's been a tremendous learning lesson takeaway for her. She's participated in the premier program there at your correctional facility to address a longstanding, pretty entrenched substance abuse problem. And she laid out for us a pretty clear plan between the sober house and meetings and therapy of how she's going to basically be an adult out in the community. And I hope she can appreciate that the parole officer will be there to support her doing so. So my vote is to grant.
Thank you. Mr. Paul?
Yes.
What conditions do you have, Mr.?
I have halfway house,
Yeah.
no alcohol. I have a question about her mother
Yeah,
as.
about POs, say general,
Mhm.
yeah. I didn't have the alcohol, but was
Was
that
a mental health evaluation.
Yeah. I did see that, but I wasn't sure. Sometimes it's generalized. Okay. Did you have a problem with alcohol when you were out in the community?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for your honesty. Anything else, Mr. Paul? No. They recommended such treatment. It sounds like she plans to go to an IOD.
Mhm.
All right, in the matter of Angelica Quintana, I mean, number 392619, I'll move to grant parole effective September 20th, 2024 with the following additional conditions. General no contact with initials MQ without your parole officer's permission.
Okay.
You'll parole to a halfway house if it's necessary. We don't have the sober house information, so we'll put it there just in case you need it. And no alcohol consumption. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any questions?
Just one. So how, if I mean, can I go to a sober house if I give boys the information, or how does that work?
Submit the information
Yes.
and the field officer, Parole and Community Services will look into the sober house.
So I write a request, but who do I send it to?
Did she send it to you now or no?
I mean, she can send it to me. The thing is, get referred to residential as soon as I dispose.
Okay.
Really writing to residential because they'll.
Okay, send it to residential because they're the ones who are going to place you.
So Parole and Community Services Residential Services Unit. And they're
Okay.
at 300 Sheldon Street, Hartford.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a good
All right.
day.
You can write me a request to get that information.
Okay, because I have his information, so just send it to them or send it to you too? I don't,
Send it to both.
okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
This concludes hearing for Angelica Quintana.
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
The board is just taking a quick 2-minute break, so just hang out right there. We'll be with you in a couple seconds.
Okay, that's fine.
What's your name again?
Jillian Persons.
Perfect. Okay, we'll be right with you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Voice for today. It's Friday, September 20th, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certified they've reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Let's see, is the camera? Okay. Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Nancy Turner.
Also
Good
present
morning.
today, are additional staff. Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
My name is Jillian Persons and my inmate number is 00443-566.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Jillian Persons, inmate number 443566. She is serving a sentence of 8 years suspended after 3 years with 3 years probation for criminal mischief first and 1 count of attempted larceny first. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility of September 6th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There's an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows she's currently participating in the Tier 4 program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment warrant, the offender's overall score for recidivism falls in the range. Ms. Persons, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. I may begin.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
So this is your chance to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole.
Oh, okay. Thank you for this opportunity. I know parole is not guaranteed, so I just want to say thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And also, I want everyone to know that I take full responsibility for my crime. And I'm very remorseful about it, that if I could go back, I would have never done it. And I definitely learned from it. I think I would be a good candidate for parole because I've learned a lot and done some really deep soul searching and worked on myself a lot while I've been in here. And I'm ready to be a successful member of society.
Thank you for your statement, Ms. Persons. We do have questions for you, and when we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Okay.
Begin with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Ms. Persons. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So this offense was, I guess it caused a lot of damage, right?
Yes, it did. It caused lots of people to go without their cable or their phone line for a couple days, I think a day or two.
And why was it that the offense was committed?
Why? Well, so I was in active addiction. My fiance and I were in active addiction, and we were homeless, and we were desperate for money. And apparently he had done this kind of thing before. So we were trying to get copper, the copper wiring out of the communication cables. However, it ended up being fiber optic cables, so that's why we kind of just left it there after cutting it.
Okay. So your criminal history, it's like everything drug charges
Yes,
and related to drug charges, including what we're here for today.
yes.
So you've just started the Tier 4 program, right? Or when
No,
did you start?
I started in April. I'm actually in phase 2 right now.
And when do you see it wrapping up? What does the end completion date look like?
I'm not sure. They haven't really spoken to me about that.
We have it, yeah, October 26th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and how have you done with that?
With the Marilyn Baker program, I love the program. I feel like it's helped me to really look at my trauma and why I am an addict and why I use drugs, but also like working on my behavior, my behavioral health, as well as my emotional health. The program's been amazing, and it's helped me grow as a person.
So I know that it's probably later that you do this in the program, but have you put together any recovery plan for when you're released?
Actually, I have. So I've done 2. I did one on my own, and I did one with CCAR because I'm in the pre-training class. But my plan is to do 90 and 90. That way I'm around people that can show me how to live clean. I've had clean time before, but I never really like lived a clean life. If you understand what I'm saying there, like it's more,
Yep.
It's more than just not using. It's
Of course.
yeah.
So 90 and 90 and what?
Get a sponsor.
No, 90 in what?
Oh,
In what?
in 12-step program in NA.
Wait. And
Yes.
okay. Any other types of programs while you're in that are like this?
When I get out.
No, like NA. Have you done anything else?
Oh, yeah,
like
I've
that
done
while you're in?
Codependence Anonymous. I've done Alcoholics Anonymous. I've done Women for Sobriety and All Recovery. And I think that's it. Well, also I did Beyond Violence, but I had to stop in order to do my phase 1 work. But I did get like halfway through.
Any smart recovery?
No smart recovery.
Which do you feel most comfortable with?
I really love Codependence Anonymous. That's probably the best one that I've experienced.
Okay. Sounds like if you're dealing with trauma.
Yes.
Sounds like sounds like that's a place where people have made progress in that area, right?
Yes,
So you go to NA meetings now,
yes,
right?
yep.
And does that seem supportive for you?
Yep, I like NA. I used to do, when I was still in North Carolina, I did Alcoholics Anonymous. But I'm more of an addict than an alcoholic, so I feel like NA fits me a lot better.
Okay. MAT program at all?
Yes, I am on methadone. And I did the MAT groups while I was on the west side of the prison. Once I got moved to the east side, those kind of stopped, so.
Okay. Good. So, you also were engaged in Defy.
Yes,
Can you talk a little bit about that?
yes, I love Defy. Defy wasn't just an entrepreneurship class, it really taught you to look into who you are as a person and to grow and become who you want to become. They call it CEO of your new life. And I really like that because that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is build a new life for myself. And I actually I won the pitch competition. I came in the top 5, so I was proud of that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's really good.
thank you.
So, coming out, you wanted to come out to a halfway house?
Yes, unfortunately, I burned some bridges with family, so halfway house is my only option.
And you're looking at Bridgeport?
Yes, that's my first choice. New Haven's my second choice.
Okay. And you know that Bridgeport has really strong C-car?
Yes,
One of the strongest states.
yeah, I've talked to Miss Kane about that and where all the locations are, and Bridgeport has one, so I'm very excited to get out and be involved with that.
Yeah. And I think just the last question. So you said you were in the C-car pre-coach program.
Yes.
So what about a coach?
So it's a recovery coach program, and there's a pre-training, and then there's the actual training to become a recovery coach. So I finished the pre-training. I'm about to be into the regular training, where they teach you, basically what I've learned is like how a recovery coach acts, how they do their job, how they interact with people and stuff like that.
And so do you have a coach?
Not yet. When I get out, I plan on getting one though.
That's a really good thing.
Yes, and I've never had that before, so I think it would really help me.
And you do have, I mean, you have some good credits behind you in terms of college heading up. You like the human services,
Yes.
and that'll. Yep, go ahead.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Good.
Yeah, I pursued human services substance abuse studies because of my life and my experiences. I feel like I could really help people. And I've actually maintained a high GPA, and I really do thoroughly enjoy school. Whereas when I was a teenager, I couldn't stand it. And now I really like it. So, and while I've been in here, I've been doing vocational classes such as cosmetology.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that as well. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's always good to have options, right?
I just want as many skills under my belt as I can get.
And so how do you think you don't come back to prison?
Do I think I will come back to prison?
How do you think you don't come back to prison?
Oh, well, for me, I have to stay clean. That's number one. The drug use has led me nowhere but here in prisons and rehabs and institutions. And as long as I live clean thoroughly throughout everything in my life, I feel like I will be okay.
I mean, honestly, if you didn't use, you wouldn't have any criminal history.
That, I believe so, yeah.
Right.
Really, it's all focused on my substance abuse.
That's absolutely all the stuff from North Carolina is like,
Right,
you know.
yeah,
So I'm really happy that you're making the progress that you're making.
Thank
And
you.
focus coming out, right?
yes.
That's all I have. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Okay, Ms. Persons. Have you completed all of your obligations with North Carolina?
Yes, I was also in a program with them called Drug Court, and I successfully graduated that program and successfully finished my probation with them as well.
Okay, perfect. You came to Connecticut for a fresh start from North Carolina, right?
Yes, I did, and I made some poor choices because of my drug use, and it didn't work out the way I had envisioned it working out. And
Yeah.
I was, living in a tent behind a McDonald's, so
Wow.
it was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned your fiance, who's also your co-defendant, right? Are you in contact with him now?
No, I talk to his dad sometimes just to kind of check in, see like what's going on with his case and stuff, but I haven't talked to him directly.
Where is he?
He's in Osborne.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
But so the plan is for the two of you to resume your relationship when you're released?
Honestly, I've thought a lot about this, and he is one of my biggest supports. So I would really like to have him in my life, but if he can't live clean and do the things that I'm doing, then obviously I don't want that relationship. It really
Yeah, I
all
mean, I
depends.
guess how could you possibly know what his mindset is right now if he's doing the work like you are?
Right, exactly.
You don't know, right?
I don't. So hopefully I would hope that he would show me when he got out. But I'm not, right now I'm in the dark, so.
You're in the dark, yeah, but that could also very much jeopardize not only your sobriety, your freedom, I mean, a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean, you said yourself, he had done something like this before, right?
right.
So it's not like you were going up on a pole or on a ladder and
No.
you wouldn't have come up with this plan on your own.
Right,
So I'm sure you've heard and learned that sometimes you have to change your people and your environments in order to
Yeah.
be successful in your own recovery.
that's right.
I hope you're strong enough to make those tough decisions.
I believe I am. I'm living for myself now instead of trying to fit in or please other people like I always have. I'm really focused on me and making me a better person.
Yeah.
I know what that entails, and if I have to cut the relationship off, then so be it. As long as it's helping me grow, I'm all for it.
How long were you together?
We've been together for 4 years.
Okay. It's a long time for bad habits. Yeah.
Well, we were clean the whole time up until this last relapse. But we obviously relapsed together, so that's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
If one can't stay strong, then yeah, that's a problem.
Right, yeah.
Where does your teenage daughter fit in all of this equation?
Well, she's currently with her dad in North Carolina. Once I get on my feet, she wants to come up here and live with me.
Of course she does, right? Every daughter wants to be with their mother.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she needs me now. She's in her teenage years, so she really needs me right now.
Yeah. And I would think your daughter's probably a little more important than a boyfriend, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay. All right. Thank you for speaking with me. I do have to note for the record that the Stamford State's Attorney's Office sent a letter in objecting to your parole today. It's just one of the many things that we consider. Ms. Turner?
Ms. Persons, these events happened in March of 2023.
Yes,
And when the police made contact with you, you said you had been with your co-defendant approximately a year.
yeah, that's what I told them. I had lied at the time.
I was pleased when I got through the sentencing transcript to read your apology that you made before the judge. So that was a really, positive first step forward.
Yes,
So when you say to us, you're remorseful and you're fully responsible,
yes,
that isn't just something you're saying now as you're eligible for parole, but this
Right.
is something that, was weighing on you as your case was going through
right.
the criminal justice system. And I think it speaks well of your character that you stepped up and made that apology, because there weren't specific individuals that you knew of who were harmed, but you knew the scope
Yes,
of the crime's impact on
Yeah.
individuals, on businesses, on the fiber optic company itself, tremendous costs that they incurred through the decisions that you and your co-defendant made that day.
yes.
So, congratulations on getting this far into your 4.
Thank you.
And what I'm hearing, and I'm just gonna, parrot it back to you, is that you like yourself and you're rebuilding your self-esteem.
Yes,
You've got some clarity about what you want in life and you've prioritized your recovery.
yes,
Does that summarize it pretty well?
yes,
Okay. You talked about building a new life,
yes,
and I genuinely hope you'll be successful doing so.
Yeah.
You talked about, skills, and, I see them as tools
right.
that you have to negotiate temptation, cravings, bad influences, all of that.
Yeah,
So that, they're going to be there when you are tested.
right.
It's up to you to pull them out and use them.
Exactly.
90-90 is a tremendously positive start.
Yes,
It immerses you in the recovery community. You can find people you connect to. You can go to step meetings. You can go to, women's only meetings. You can go to speaker meetings. You can experience it all. And,
Yeah.
and that will be really positive for you.
yes, I believe so.
So I'm just going to put it out there for you. I know that you refer to your co-defendant as your fiance,
Yes,
and there were a few things that stood out for me in the police report. You did tell the police that you were reluctant to give them information because he's been violent towards you in the past.
yes. Unfortunately, that's true.
And when he was involved in the actual crime of cutting and handling the fiber optics, which you claim you didn't know what it was at the time,
Right.
and you cautioned him, because we all know about electrocution and you don't touch down
Right.
wires.
Exactly,
Do you
exactly.
remember what he said to you? Is it seared in your brain?
I'm pretty sure he told me to shut the F up and something else. I don't
I'll
remember.
do
exactly.
a dumb B.
Yes, yeah,
Okay. So I just want you to give that some thought, because you deserve better than that.
no,
I don't
yeah,
care what the stresses were and how deep in your addictions you were. Someone that you trust and let into your life should never speak to you the
absolutely.
ways and treat you the way that Mr. Gettings has. And I hope you want more for yourself.
I do. That's why, I've been thinking so much about the relationship and, I've come to the conclusion that I come first, so.
And I hope you'll maintain that conviction
Yes.
because you deserve better than this. And, you know, he might be your primary support, but there are lots of other people out in the world who will do that for you and show you caring and kindness in the process.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish you much success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll give you our decision shortly. Mr. Parole.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Persons is engaged in really good programming. And she's been involved in a lot of things related to addiction recovery. Obviously, if you look at the criminal history, it's all substance. The motivator behind this crime was substance use, getting material so that they could trade it in and get money for substance use. She has a plan for when she's released. She's engaged in coaching program, wants a coach. She engaged in Defy. She's got background in human services and employment experience in group homes that kind of can get over to substance abuse studies related to human services. She has no disciplinary reports. And I would be in favor of parole on or after October 26th.
Yeah, I mean, we can make a contingent upon completion of tier 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. Ms. Turner?
I support a period of supportive supervision through discretionary parole. It would amount to about a year. And then she'll transition to 3 years of probation. And I think that higher level will help her on the right path.
Okay. So obviously we have the contingency, then a co-defendant, mental health eval, and halfway house.
Yes.
Do we want to do without parole officer's permission? Co-defendant?
I would like to.
I mean, if she's saying they're going to try to rectify, she's got to make that choice for herself, but.
Right.
All right. In the matter of Jillian Persons, inmate number 443566, I'll make a motion to grant parole. It's effective today, but we want you to finish the program, so they're not going to put you out anytime before then. Effective 9/20/24 with the following conditions. Your parole is contingent upon successful completion of the Tier 4 program. You're to have no contact with the co-defendant, Austin Gettings, without your parole officer's permission. You'll participate in mental health evaluation and treatment if they deem it necessary, and you'll parole to a halfway house. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Right, you are all set. We'll get this in writing in a couple days.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Can we get your name, please?
Heather Duperry.
I will be with you in 1 second. Good morning, my name is Parole Officer Boyce for today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. This is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Poole.
Nancy Turner, good morning.
Also present are additional staff members from the Board of Pardons and Parole. This hearing is being conducted, I'm sorry, can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Heather Duperry. 431-993.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Heather Duperry, inmate number 431993. She is serving a sentence of 20 years, suspended after 6 years and 5 years probation for 1 count of manslaughter first. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of September 26th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan has been reviewed and shows that she has completed Tier 4 and Beyond Violence and is currently participating in the intensive aftercare program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment, one of the offender's overall score for recidivity falls within the moderate range. Mr. Perry, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning, everybody. I feel as though I just wanted to say first that I appreciate you guys taking the time out for giving me the opportunity for parole. I wanted to also say that I take full accountability and responsibility for being a part of an altercation and taking someone's life.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Perry. We do have questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and you'll get your decision here today.
Thank you.
This is such a tragic and senseless offense. I mean, you were all at a party celebrating together, right?
Yes.
And it went terribly wrong. How did you end up with the longest sentence? You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
It was never
Yeah.
told to me.
Huh. Okay. And I don't believe they determined that your actions solely were the cause of death, or am I mistaken?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. So, but you did admit that while the victim was injured and on the ground, that you stomped on him, right?
Yes.
That
I
was
did.
the role that you played.
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, I know there was alcohol, drugs involved that night, but what was this fight even about?
If I can tell you
Yeah.
my story of
Right.
what I remember.
Yeah.
My sister had intimate times with my son's friend Elmi.
Yeah.
Yes, so she had intimate times. Earlier on in that morning, she had shared with Mr. Martinez text messages and informed him that they had kissed here and there. At that time, my sister was a prostitute and she was smoking crack. And Elmi said that if she would leave the drugs alone and live a normal life, that they would possibly get together. So that night, we ended up bringing Elmi over there without knowing at the time of this information that was told to me. My sister that night had made Mr. Martinez jealous by putting her breast on Elmi, on his side of his shoulder. Mr. Martinez had seen it from the second floor porch where he was hanging out with his neighbor. And he ended up getting angry and he punched the post. So what had happened was when Elmi went to our vehicle that was parked on the side of the street, my sister had followed him to the car. Mr. Martinez saw both of them walk to the car and, obviously he had natural feelings of, being upset about it. after what he was told earlier on in the morning. So he walked up to, Elmi, and as though he was talking to him, and he punched him in the throat, then in the face. He fell forward and he stomped him in the ground. And I remember my sister running inside the house saying that he beat him up.
And the police report does explain from there everything that happened, but it makes more sense so now that you're explaining it, what exactly went down. And what were you using that night?
I ended up getting into crack 2 months prior to the incident, and I was drinking as well.
Yeah.
And I was smoking PCP.
And PCP too. Wow. That is a rough combination.
Yes.
But you clearly remember everything that happened that night?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So your co-defendants are a friend, an ex, and your son, right?
Yes.
Or is it an ex? Were you guys together at the time?
No.
Okay. But you all hung out and used together, drank together?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How's your son doing now?
He works for a truck driving company. He has his own apartment, and he's trying to, move forward with his life the best way that he can.
Okay, good. That's positive, right?
Yes.
All right. So I did read in your file that you had a history of fighting, right? Did you have an anger problem? Did you have
Yes.
anger management issues? You took Beyond Violence. Okay. Did you
Yes.
learn new tools for controlling your anger? Okay.
Yes, I have.
Can you share something you learned?
I've learned in Beyond Violence that it's okay to have feelings of anger. However, to not react when you feel angry, to stop and think about that moment and think about the consequences if you were to react. And I also did stress management as well. And it taught me a lot of breathing techniques. And that's also a form of meditation. But the breathing techniques I found work for me, and also taking time to actually think before I react. And I learned that also in Newcomers, a group that I was a part of for 19 weeks. I did that twice. And it has to do with risky thinking and risky thoughts and risky behavior as well. To think about the outcome before you react,
Okay.
So you don't suffer the consequences or, get involved with the law.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've taken good programs and you've remained out of trouble other than the one disciplinary report for security tampering. Tell us how you'll continue on this path out in the community. What is your relapse prevention plan?
My relapse prevention plan is to always remain to put myself first, along with my sobriety. Also, I have plans on volunteering at CCAR. I also became a recovery coach in the time of my incarceration. Right now, I'm studying the professionalism so I can become a recovery coach professionalist. I plan on giving back to the community as much as I can by helping an addict, know that they don't have to suffer from addiction.
Nice. Okay. Well, it sounds like you really have learned from this incarceration, from the offense, from everything that you've been through.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I also have finally been able to admit when it comes to taking care of my mental needs. I am on the proper medication that I need to go about my days to help me, stabilize my moods, for my anxiety, my depression, my ADHD. I just recently was put on a med for that. So when I leave here, I plan on going to Wheeler Clinic as soon as possible, and also to find a therapist that I can speak to weekly, once a month, whatever it takes. And also I plan on doing 90-90.
Yeah, did read that. Okay, thank you for speaking with me, Mr. Perry. Ms. Turner?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So it was appropriate to hear you taking responsibility and appreciating the seriousness of your role in contributing to the death of another person.
Yes.
At sentencing, you did offer an apology, and that was good sign, good first step in the right direction. How did it feel to get forgiven by the victim's family?
I ended up feeling complete again. However, I still carry feelings of guilt and remorse because he was a friend. It's not like he was a nobody, because he wasn't. That wasn't my intention that night for that to happen. And when I was forgiven, I felt a sigh of relief because I'm very sorry for what happened. Very sorry. And I'm
So
gonna
really-
have to, yes.
Really, Ms. Duperry, what matters going forward is what you do with those feelings of remorse and using them as a positive force to drive your choices in life, the rest of your life, in ways that involve giving back, like CCAR will. But don't let the remorse and the guilt be your undoing. You have to reconcile yourself to that act of forgiveness, that grace that you were given. In court, it was said that, and I'll share this because it might help you understand why you got the longer sentence. It described you as having more of an aggravating conduct in the state's eyes when you proceeded to further injure the victim who was already incapacitated. So I think that had to do with the sentence that you're facing right now, and you'll have 14 years of it over your head when you go out to 5 years of probation.
Yes, I understand.
Can you tell me what the status of your driver's license is right now?
I actually don't know. I've been in here for over 5 years, so I'm not able to get in contact with them to find out.
Well, make sure you understand what the status is before you make choices that can, end up with you violating. I know that the 2 DUIs in 2018 and 2019 were nollied, but that might still, with the DMV, have an impact on your driving privileges.
Yes.
Okay. So, you have done well during this period of incarceration with vocational training, with employment there in the facility, and then participating in programming. So that's to be recognized. I hope you feel good about that.
Yes, I do.
And I liked listening to you talk about, having that emotional self-regulation to think through consequences before you act. We have to bring thought to bear on our actions. Otherwise, it's living a life of just reacting and then getting into really compromising situations. So I hope if you're granted today that you'll appreciate that your parole officer can help you be successful out in the community. But it's somebody that you have to be willing to, talk to and let them know how you're doing and if you're worried or stressed, so that they can direct you to programs and services and help you so that you don't make poor choices that then have consequences.
Yes.
So think about that, having that relationship with a parole officer wouldn't be for that long. You're not eligible until September, and then your end of sentence in July, but it would be the grace of about 10 months to get you stable out in the community, to begin the probationary period. I wish you much success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you,
Chair.
Mr. Paul. All right, give us some time to discuss your case. You can listen to our deliberation. We'll get back to you shortly with our decision.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, so horrible offense, obviously, but Ms. Duperry has really taken advantage of her time incarcerated to engage in programs to address her criminogenic needs. She's stayed out of trouble. She is working through some long-term issues that she's had, and she has a positive and extensive release plan. I think she would benefit from further support from parole as she transitions into her period of probation, and I would support a grant of parole today. Ms. Turner?
I am also in favor of a grant. As I just said, I think that extra level of support and accountability will be important for her transition to make it successful.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Agreed.
All right. So we have co-defendants without the parole officer's permission, alcohol, mental health treatment with medication compliance, and halfway house. Anything further?
No driving.
Driving without. And we do not have registered or any indication that they don't want contact. So I mean, we have
Son and
names
daughter
of
names.
but they're not registered. And I don't know that they don't want contact. So. All right, in the matter of Heather Duperry, MA number 431993, I'll move to grant parole effective your 85% date, which is September 25th, 2024, with the following, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There was a slight.
Okay, September 26th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. You're to have no contact with your co-defendants, Dolly Cruz, Christopher Sirach, or Gabriel Sirach without your parole officer's permission. No consumption of alcoholic beverages. You'll participate in mental health treatment and medication compliance. You'll parole to a halfway house, and you are not to operate a motor vehicle without the permission of your parole officer. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have questions, ma'am?
No,
Okay, we wish
I
you the best.
wanted to thank you very much for
Keep
giving
working
me
on
another
yourself,
chance.
okay?
Yes, I will.
This concludes the hearing for Heather Duperry, 31983. All right, you're all set. You'll get this in writing in a couple days.
Thank you.
Black. Third black. Yeah.
Morning, can we get your name, please?
Sheila Calderone.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyster. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons. Parole. Although the members are present this morning, by stating their names on the record, certified that they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Nancy Turner.
Also present today are additional board member staff. Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Sheila Calderone.
And your inmate number, please?
And what?
Your inmate number?
438660.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Sheila Calderone, inmate number 438660. She's serving a sentence of 3 years and 6 months incarceration with 5 years special parole for 1 count of attempted assault first and 1 count of attempted assault on public safety. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date November 27th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that she is currently participating in the Tier 4 program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Order, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the low range. Ms. Calderon, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Because I'm ready to be a active member of society. I have grandkids to go home to, new grandkids. My daughter just gave birth to a boy. He's a month old. My son's girlfriend is gonna give birth to a baby on the 2nd. She's gonna get induced. And I'm ready to start my trucking career because I'm taking CDL here. And I'm just ready for society. I think I did my time.
Okay. We have questions for you, Ms. Calderon.
All right.
And when we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Turner.
So Ms. Calderon, that was an interesting opening statement. That was really about why you want parole. Do you have anything to tell us about why you deserve parole?
Why I deserve parole? Because I completed my Maryland Baker program in here. I've been going to groups, to meetings. I've learned a lot from the program. I don't know. I'm nervous right now, I'm sorry.
No. Oh, she's happy.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
it's easy.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Sorry for that glitch in the technology. It's certainly not perfect. So you were starting to say?
I just did the report.
Oh, the recording.
Did I complete
Back
it?
on the record for Sheila Calderone, inmate number 438660.
Please continue.
I completed the Maryland Baker program successfully.
You had started to talk about what you learned.
One.
I learned coping skills. I've learned how to relieve my stress some other ways. I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot here. I learned
Wonderful.
patience.
Okay. That's what we're more interested in, because we have to make the decision about whether it's appropriate for you to finish the 3.5 years you have to serve before you begin special parole out in the community on discretionary parole, and we have to make that decision in light of the interests of public safety. And your drug use was such a problem and so out of control that you were actually engaging in assaultive acts against law enforcement. So it's important to us to have some sense of growth and change, the insights you might have gotten, and what your release plan is. So tell me about the methods for relieving stress that you have developed.
We have a breathing class, so breathing techniques.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Did you learn journaling to, write out your feelings, and
Yeah, I journaled.
was it helpful at all?
Yeah.
So congratulations on completing Tier 4. That's a really important step to rebuilding your life. What did you learn about PCP in the Tier 4 program?
That it's a wild drug. It makes you hallucinate. And it's not good for your brain.
What does it do to your brain?
Makes you hallucinate, makes you think things that is not there.
They talk about the fact that it actually damages the structure of your brain.
No, I never learned that.
Yeah, in ways your brain cannot recover.
Wow. And
Yeah.
I've been smoking since I was 19 years old, and I'm 42 now.
Yeah. And the scary part, in addition to that, Ms. Calderon, is that we don't yet know what impact it has as one ages, that damage to the brain and its connection to other conditions that we're seeing more often in our elderly population. So it's incredibly dangerous, harmful. You come off the high, but the residual is there. And the harm.
Yeah, I've seen people stuck on it.
So in Marilyn Baker, did you come to understand why you were a daily user of PCP?
Yeah, I did it for fun. I thought it was fun, and then I just started doing it by myself, becoming dependent on it. Sneaking around, going to use it. Sneaking for my kids. It was horrible.
Well, sometimes when people in your situation go from recreational to addiction, it's often as a way of self-medicating. Do you think that was ever the case for you?
Yeah, because I relapsed when my brother died. When he passed away, I relapsed, and I kept going from there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about what happened to your brother. It was really tragic. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but we need to be strong enough to withstand some of those challenges in life that we all experience in terms of loss.
Yeah.
And grief, and be able to get through it to the other side and not have it destroy our own lives. I mean, your brother wouldn't want that for you, would he?
No.
So this became a $60 a day habit for you. How are you paying for this?
I was working.
Yeah, but that gets to be expensive over the course of a
And I will go
week.
with, I will go with other friends that's going half on it and stuff like that.
Has it ever caused you the kind of problems that you're incarcerated for today?
No. This is the first time I had a bad bag.
Well, and you never know when that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it sometimes it isn't even the drug itself, but it's what it's doing to your brain. Like you said, the hallucination. It's pretty potent stuff. Do you remember what you were doing that resulted in your arrest?
Yeah, it felt real. It felt so real.
Scary. Must have been scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the officers went through?
I think they went through a lot of decision making because they could have shot me, they could have tased me, they could have maced me, but they didn't. They just used their strength against me. And I'm pretty sure they were confused because they wasn't there for that. They was there for a stolen car.
Yeah, you snuck up on them.
Yeah.
And they saw the knife in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're real fortunate that, the use of force that they applied to get you under arrest wasn't more severe.
I know. I'm thankful for that.
So what would you say to the officers if they were listening today, or by chance? What would you say?
I apologize. I would never want to put nobody in no risk and no harm's way. I'm remorseful. And I just apologize, deeply apologize. I wasn't in the right state of mind. It was the PCP that did that to me because I would never do that in the right state of mind.
Well, you do have a prior assault third on your record. I'm glad to hear you apologize. Do you think there's a difference between saying I apologize and I'm sorry? Does it sound or feel different either way?
No, it's the same thing. I could say I'm sorry.
I always feel like sorry is more genuine, more from the heart. Apologies more of a formal statement as opposed to,
I was trying to sound more professional.
All right. All right. Well, then this moment, I'm looking for your heart. Because they used really sound professional judgment to get you under control. And, they were, in all likelihood, in fear for their lives and the lives of their colleagues. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that.
Because like you're saying, it was unanticipated. You came from out of the blue behind them, wielding a knife. Yeah, pretty crazy. So, tell me, you say you're ready for society and you want to begin a trucking career. Talk to me about. Go ahead.
I'm taking CDL classes here.
Congratulations.
And if I don't get my permit here, I can follow it over at NET and they'll pay for everything, all my schooling and everything. And I need to start doing something because I got 5 children that I need to take care of. They're very needing.
It's been a long time since they've seen you clean and sober.
Yeah.
What do you think your drug use felt like for them?
I think it felt like I was a loser. Because my older kids would try to, like, they'll know that I'm high because I start stuttering a lot. And they'll be like, "Ma, can you read this book for me?" Like, ranking on me, knowing I wasn't going to be able to read the book while I was high. So I just felt like they clowned me a lot while I was high.
That must have hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in what they felt because, you know, you're, as their parent, you're the rock that they rely on. And when you're inconsistent, because sometimes you're under, you know, you're actively high and, you know, there's uncertainty that comes with that. And they probably felt scared from time to time. They didn't know which mom they were going to get, and they didn't know how you were going to act. Because you might think that you were hiding it from them or sneaking it behind their backs, but kids know.
Yeah. They know. They would be like, "Ma, they don't want to come inside because I'll be outside. I didn't want to come inside the house," and stuff like that. So they know. They'd be like, "Mom's smoking her cigarette again."
And then for kids, it becomes living on a level of survival.
Yeah.
So, have you been able to, or was there much in Marilyn Baker about parenting?
No.
Well, you know, you're not eligible for release until the end of November. So I'm going to encourage you to talk to somebody there about a motherhood or a parenting class.
Okay.
Because you're going to re-enter the lives of your children having been absent for a while. And they're going to have a lot of strong feelings about that. And if you have some tools to be able to deal with that and accept their feelings as valid, even though, you know, it might tear you up inside, you know, you need to be able to meet them where they're at.
Yeah, I'll look into
Both
that.
your addiction and your absence.
I'll look into that. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Something to just help with the transition, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about preventing relapse. What does that look like for you?
The people, places, and things, changing people, places, and things, and not going around my own neighborhood.
What are the things in the people, places, and things?
Things is money, having money. I'd rather go spend it out on something else, on my children, take my children somewhere or something.
Or save it for your future, for
Yeah.
their education.
Yeah.
So what kinds of things will you do to stay clean and sober?
I'm planning on going to meetings, attending meetings, going to church, because I believe in God.
I know that you've done programming out in the community before. Have you done NA in the community?
Yeah.
Have you ever worked with a sponsor?
No, I never got a sponsor or anything. I just popped up in a meeting and slid in the back. But this time I'm going to be more engaged.
You know, the program NA is built on the 12 steps. Are you familiar with those?
Yes, I'm familiar with the 12 steps.
Okay. So it's more than just attending meetings, but it's actively working on yourself. And, you know, journaling is one of the ways to get through the 12 steps. And then you get to step 12 and you start all over again. Because, you know, in your case, especially, it's making that commitment every day, sometimes every hour of every day, to live clean and sober.
Yeah.
And having the supports in place to guide you in that path, especially when there's temptation or extra money or old friends popping up.
Yeah.
Help you keep your focus.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more around my family, my sisters, my support network.
Yeah. Because you certainly aren't going to be a successful truck driver if you're using,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for talking with me, Ms. Calderon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. just had one question, Ms. Calderon. I read in your file that you were in the process of reuniting with an ex. I was a little concerned because I do believe that he has past substance abuse issues as well. Where does he stand today?
He's on a bracelet right now. He just got out of jail for DUI. He's on a bracelet on parole.
Yeah.
So he's willing to go to meetings with me and everything.
Okay, but what happens if he's not doing well?
If he's not doing well, I can't be around him.
Right.
I know how to separate myself from him.
Yes. I just want you to keep the focus on yourself, your kids, you know, before you take a chance on someone who might risk it all for you, you know?
Yeah. No, but I know how to separate myself from him.
Okay. Just be careful. All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll come back to you shortly with our decision. You can listen to our deliberation. Ms. Turner?
Ms. Calderon, have you talked to your sister since she was contacted by the parole officer?
Yeah, she said that she wasn't able to sponsor me because of the kids in the house. But I got
You're
my
okay
other
with the
sister's.
halfway house?
No, I got my other sister's address.
All right, well, we don't have any of those details before us today. So as we make a plan going forward, we'll put a halfway house in the event that you need it.
Can I give you an address?
Not during the hearing, and you know, you wouldn't be giving it to us anyway. Okay?
Okay.
I'm glad that you know. I mean, she's already doing, you know, hero's work in this case.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can't be there, you know, initially, I trust you're okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, really unfortunate situation that Ms. Calderon created for herself and putting law enforcement at risk. It's tremendously fortunate that it didn't have a more serious outcome because she was really not in any state of mind, as she describes it herself, hallucinating. She's taken, you know, the best program that's going to help her get on the right path there at York, and has used the time wisely, especially pursuing a career with a CDL. So she also had a DUI in 2020 that was nollied last year. So I'm not sure what the state of her license is, but she'll have to figure that out before, you know, she gets behind the wheel of any commercial vehicles. So I have Ms. Calderon granted for the support that I know she has 5 years of special parole, but her behavior's been great. Her programming's solid. She's taking care of her mental health needs and seems to have a plan for preventing drug use.
Yeah, it's a 4-month head start. What do you have for conditions?
Mental health evaluation and treatment, halfway house placement if needed.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Pope?
Do you know why I would have had no alcohol?
I mean, I
Was there
think
a-
she did use alcohol, but I don't,
Was there alcohol?
was alcohol a problem for you?
In the offense?
No, it wasn't.
The mental health history actually talked about ecstasy, but I didn't see alcohol.
Okay, so what I picked up there was.
DUI from 2020.
No, the officer noted that the offender appeared to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
I just didn't know what it was, but I'm fine without it.
Yeah, no, and she did say, it did say in the substance abuse section that she started using PCP and drinking again.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You good?
Yeah.
All right. In the matter of Sheila Calderone, inmate number 438660, I'll move to grant parole at your 85% eligibility, November 27th, 2024, with the following conditions. You'll participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary, and you'll be paroled to a halfway house if it's needed. You can give your other sister's information to the Parole and Community Services officer and they can check it out, but we'll put it just in case that doesn't work out, so you can still get out, okay? Is there a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we wish you the best. Keep working on yourself, ma'am.
Thank you.
Look into a motherhood parenting program.
I will.
Good luck.
This concludes the hearing. We'll do a vote on inmate number 4386. So.
We'll take a 5-minute recess and we'll be back. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, hello. Hey, how are you guys doing? I really appreciate you guys, the ones that came over from TikTok, and if you're from YouTube, appreciate that also. I know when we're in the middle of TikTok, we left in the middle of her case. Ooh, excuse me. What do you guys think? Do you guys think she's gonna be found suitable for parole? Because everybody else so
Good morning.
far.
My name is Parole Officer Boyster. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. This is hearing the Connecticut Court of Parties Parole. Following your message this morning, let's state your names on the record. Certified they've reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Michael.
Nancy Turner.
Morning.
Also present this morning are additional staff from the Court of Parole. Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Jacqueline Rosario, 426-322.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Jacqueline Rosario, inmate number 426322. She is serving a sentence of 15 years, suspended after 5 years with 3 years probation for one count of evading involving injury or death. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of July 22nd, 2024. There is no victim input. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender has completed Beyond Violence in Tier 4 and is currently participating in the intensive aftercare program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Board, the offender's overall score for recidivity falls in the moderate range. Ms. Rosario, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I'm not the person that I used to be when I came in here. I did this program and this program really changed my life. I did the CCAR. I'm already a recovery coach and I'm working on getting my recovery coach specialist certificate. I already did the first part of that, so I'm on to the second part. And I just wanna thank you guys for letting me have this privilege, because I realize the privilege for somebody to have parole. And I take full accountability of the crime I committed, and I'm very sorry and I apologize for what happened.
Thank you, Ms. Rosario. We do have questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today.
Okay.
And we'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Ms. Rosario. How are you?
Good morning, I'm okay.
I just want to cover this really, the offense itself. I heard you say that you take full accountability and that you're sorry. However, what was the implications of your actions? What happened as a result of what you did?
I had dropped my daughters off at their friend's house, and it was dark, and it was, I was, how to say it? It was real dark outside. I couldn't really see, so I happened to hit somebody and keep going. But I didn't realize that I hit somebody. If that, I would have realized that, I would have stopped.
So when you're operating a motor vehicle and you hit something, doesn't it make sense to stop?
Yes.
But you just didn't.
I didn't. And I'm sorry.
And then you went home, right?
Yes.
And what did you tell your co-defendant?
I said that I don't know what I hit, that I was real nervous, and I don't know what happened. I really didn't say much. I was scared.
And you know that from what I read, he said that you said that you hit a person.
Yeah.
And then he went and tried to fix the car and cover up what happened. And the other sad part about this is that you know, the person that was killed in this accident, there doesn't appear to be anybody that's that was like a next to kin that could take him and do what you do at the end. So
Yeah, sorry for that. I got, I'm working on my grief and loss. You know, I feel, you know, guilty.
So how do you think that you can make amends for what happened?
Well, I have to pay for funeral costs and go to the community and help out.
Okay. And how would you help out?
Doing community service, going to see car, volunteering.
So CCAR is for what? What kind of people?
People that have problems in the street, people that are in recovery, people that need recovery.
You're dealing with people that are living or dying.
They're living.
Barely.
Yeah.
What's it like to be out in the street on, you know, under the influence of alcohol, cocaine, heroin? Would you call that living?
No.
No. So there's an opportunity out of this for you to help others,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, you can't make amends. You can't make amends to Mr. Christensen. He's gone, right?
Yes.
But you can help someone else so that they don't have to go through this whole experience.
Yes. I feel that even if I help somebody, one person.
That's important.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot to understand that what I did caused somebody else to die.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, your background as well, I mean, it goes back, you know, 14 years, so. But there was another, you know, there's another incident where, you know, you had, it was an assault back then. I don't want to get into it. It's way too long ago. But there's, you know, in 2018, there was additional like assaultive behavior. You know, and it's important to figure all of that out. So one of the programs that you were able to take is Beyond Violence. So what did you learn in Beyond Violence that might change how you think and how you conduct yourself?
I learned to freeze and fight. If I'm in a situation, take accountability and don't just go and think before I act. Like, instead of just jumping into conclusion, think before I do anything wrong.
Right?
Yep.
And there's a window of opportunity there where you make a decision what you're going to do next.
Yes.
Really important, right?
Yep.
You've taken tier 4 and you're in aftercare now. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a mentor now.
How's that going?
I really like it because there's a lot of people in that program coming in for DUI.
Yep.
And I explain my situation to them and I tell them, next time, don't drive. It's not worth it. And like 90% of the people there are DUI. So I use my skills that I learned there and, try to mentor people as much as I can and make sure they use the program the way they should use it. Because it's a good program for people.
Right. That's a really good program, and it's a nice thing as well to be chosen to be a mentor, right?
Yes.
And that plays hand in hand with what you're doing with CCAR.
Yeah.
So, how bad was your substance use in the community?
It was the 10.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a 10.
So it was pretty bad.
Yeah. It was bad.
So I know that when you talked to Mr. Boysford, you said that you wanted to attend mental health treatment and you wanted to connect with CCAR.
Yes, and Wheeler Clinic came to see me to do some paperwork, so I'm working with them too. For my mental, do 90-90 and do my meetings like I was doing in the outside.
And what meetings were you going to?
NA, AA. I run an NA in the Maryland Baker. I do AA, CODA. I know the CCAR lady when she came. She's like, I can possibly do an NA meeting outside when I get involved with the CCAR. So I'm looking forward for that.
Okay. One of the questions that I had is, so one of the questions when I was reading about the interview that you had with Officer Boysford was the extent of the problem you think you have.
I'm sorry?
The extent, how bad is the problem you think you have?
Yeah.
Something that needs to be taken care of every day?
Yes. I go to, the therapy I take is the mental health and my medication. As long as I'm on my medication, is where I'm okay. I don't relapse or none of that unless I'm not on my mental medication like I should be.
Okay. And that can be like a cycle in itself, right?
Yes.
You ever get out there and say, I'm feeling so good, I really don't need to take this?
Yeah.
And then we stop taking it, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Then I relapse.
Because I don't feel good anymore, because I'm not taking my medication. And so instead of taking my medication again, I start doing drugs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cycle. You're not alone in that. That's what happens, right?
Yeah.
So you being engaged with CCAR is really important. And so what about a coach for yourself?
I'm looking to see if I get a sponsor from C-Car. Cause she said she was gonna, help me with that. So,
But you know that a sponsor and a recovery coach are two different things, right?
yes. I mean, I gotta help me first when I get out, so I can help somebody. I can't just go out there today and help somebody if I'm not help myself.
Yep. That's what is really important.
Yes,
And so you're gonna go sponsor your mom from New Britain?
yes.
Okay. And what do you think about work out there?
Well, the lady that does the recovery coach here, she's giving me information to call C-Car and get involved with them. I'm a caregiver myself, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking to do volunteer during the day, finish the rest of the specialist recovery course that I'm doing, and then at night work as a caregiver.
Yeah. Great. So that would be some really good stuff for you to do.
Yes.
I'm gonna see if other board members have questions for you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Rosario, were you using drugs or alcohol on the day of your offense?
No.
You were not? What about around that time? Were you actively using around that time?
Yes.
What were you using?
Cocaine.
Okay. Was alcohol a problem for you as well?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. How's your husband doing now?
He's almost finished with his classes and
What classes?
he has, I believe, domestic violence classes.
Okay. Did you have a domestic violence offense?
No, he did.
Not with you?
No.
Oh, okay. Is he in recovery?
Yes.
How long has he been clean?
A year now?
Oh, wow. Okay. So the two of you together was not a good thing when you were using.
No.
So what happens if he can't stay clean?
Then I guess it's time to file divorce. Separate, because none of that is worth me coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm right now I feel good with my recovery where I'm at, clean.
Yeah.
And if anything's gonna mess me up, I'm not coming. I don't want to do it. Anything that is gonna bring me down, I don't want no part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not worth everything that I just accomplished, which I never thought I would, destroy me.
Yeah. Where are your kids living now?
They're living on their own.
You have a 17-year-old, right?
Yes.
Living. Okay, go ahead.
She's living with her godmother right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure they would love their mother back, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot to work on, but you've started. You've begun the process, so just have to keep doing it.
Yep. I am. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Turner.
So, Ms. Rosario, you were on probation at the time that your vehicle struck this victim, right?
Yes.
And it was Christmas Eve. He just left his home. He was using a cane and he had hearing aids. So he was probably an older gentleman. You remember being interviewed by Officer Bosford in preparation for today?
Yes.
So he prepared a report for us.
Yeah.
And in the report, in 2 different places, it says that you admitted to using cocaine and drinking alcohol the day of the instant offense.
Yes,
Okay, so you just told my colleague something completely different. So what concerns me is that you are on probation, you are under the influence of multiple substances, and you drove your daughter and her friend in your car. And then on your
Yes.
way back to your house, you hit and killed this individual when you just said to us that the conditions, which were dark and wet, were so bad you couldn't see. Why would you continue to operate a motor vehicle when you can't see? And how much of that inability to see was because you were under the influence?
yes,
Really very concerning decision-making on your part. And I believe that you didn't stop, not just because you were on probation, but because you knew you'd get a DUI, because you were under the influence. So your co-defendant, are you legally married to him?
yes,
Okay, and he's, you said a 6-year relationship?
yeah,
So was he the victim in the assault second?
no. That was an ex-boyfriend. That he was trying to
The
beat
time
me.
is really close in,
Yeah, I know.
you know, possible overlap there. And, you know, you stabbed that person in the head twice. So when you told my colleague you didn't have a problem with domestic violence and you interfered with him calling 911, I'm not really sure that is an entirely credible statement.
Well, because your colleague had told me it was anything that's been 3 years back. That's more than 3 years. So I don't know.
That was your qualifier on the DV question?
No, I asked about the classes that her current husband is now taking, if she was involved in that incident.
All right. So in the pre-sentence investigation, the surviving next of kin for the victim was concerned that your sentence is rather lenient. And they asked that you make a yearly memorial donation on or around the anniversary of the date he was killed by you, to the agency that helped him locate his housing. Do you remember
Yes.
reading that?
Yes.
What's the name of the agency?
Earth Street Shelter, I believe.
No, Friendship Services Center.
Yeah.
So I hope you take their words seriously and, you know, as part of what you told my colleague was, you know, making amends and doing community volunteerism, you know,
Yes.
they think their loved one should be honored in that way.
I am.
And you should be reminded that you were responsible for this situation. So you have 10 years of this sentence hanging over your head while you go out to probation. And if you violate probation, as you have in the past, you could be brought back and made to serve the remainder of this sentence. So please take that very seriously.
Yes.
I have no more questions for Ms. Rosario.
Thank you, Mr. Give us some time to discuss your case. You can listen to our deliberation and we'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Ms. Rosario has a sentence, 15 is suspended after 5 and goes out for 3 years of probation. She has been involved. She's done the Beyond Violence program, Tier 4 aftercare, where she served as social defender. She's been involved with CCAR, and she's done the first part inside regarding becoming a coach. When she was asked about coaching itself, she did absolutely make the connection about getting a sponsor and a recovery coach for herself, because she can't help anyone else unless she helps herself first, which is really important. She stated that, you know, she's not the person that she used to be. I hear the remorse from her. She's looking for a way to give back, to make an amends here. She has no disciplinary report. She does have the ability to go out and engage in employment with the skills that she has as a support community. So based on that, I would support parole in this case.
I too would support for all the reasons that you gave. I think there's definitely still some more work to be done, and she knows this, but she's on the right path. Ms. Turner?
It's a deny for me. The serious nature of the offense, her minimization of her role and responsibility, and I'm not finding her expressions of remorse to be actually genuine.
Okay. I have co-defendant without PO, mental health evaluation, no alcohol, and no driving. Anything else?
No.
In the matter of Jacqueline Rosario, inmate number 426322, I'll make a motion to grant parole effective September 20th, 2024, with the following conditions. You're to have no contact with your co-defendant, Luis Flores, without your parole officer's permission. You'll participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary. You are not to consume alcoholic beverages, and no operation of a motor vehicle without your parole officer's permission. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So this is a majority decision with Board Member Turner dissenting. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, thank you.
All right, keep working on yourself, okay?
Okay.
Hearing for Jacqueline Rosario, inmate 4266.
So.
All right, good morning, actually, good afternoon. My name is Parole Officer. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024, and this meeting is Board of Parties Parole. Following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good afternoon, Mike Paul.
Nancy Turner.
Also present are additional staff members. Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Tanora Lord, 440315.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Tora Lord, inmate number 440315. She is serving a sentence of 3 years and 6 months for criminal possession of a weapon, threatening first and evading responsibility. As of today, records reflect to parole eligibility on February 8, 2024, and there is no victim input in the case. There is an official penalty plan that has been reviewed and shows that she has completed anger management, has a job, and is currently participating in Tier 2. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment, one of the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the low range. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good afternoon. I'm a work in progress. I'm taking things day at a time. I'm learning as I grow. Being here has taught me, it's been bittersweet. It's taught me many things and it's opened my eyes to a lot of things that I need to correct, a lot of things that I have already corrected. And at this time, I'm just hoping parole is on the table considerably, or I'll be given a chance to redeem myself and show what more I can do. Thank you, guys.
All right, Ms. Lord, you've been here before. I was on your last panel in March, so you know how this works. We're going to ask you questions, deliberate, and give you our decision. So I'm a little disappointed that in March, we gave you a denial and a rehearing 6 months. And since then, you've received a disciplinary report for interfering with safety and security for an argument and a disciplinary report for fighting.
Correct, yes. Like I said, prior to, it's a situation on the compound that all the staff is aware of. I've been attacked twice already by the same person and I've done nothing. There's no record of that, which is bogus to me. There's no record that I was attacked and I walked away without doing anything. This last time I was spit on and I lost self-control.
Well, where do you stand with this other inmate now?
She went home.
Oh, okay. So the other party didn't get a disciplinary report.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They did. Yeah.
But then finished her sentence.
Correct.
Wow. Did you know she was about to finish her sentence? So
No,
basically,
ma'am.
she had nothing to lose.
Right. No, ma'am, I didn't know that. This is, like I said, it's been an occurring thing that I've been avoiding. I've been asking to be moved, but it's but so much they want to do, they can do. There's like no room for growth here. I've tried, but I got spit directly in my face.
Okay,
And
so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In that moment, did you know, okay, she just spit on me, I'm gonna hit her, and then I'm gonna get a ticket and I have to go before the parole board again?
No, I was spit.
Next month.
No,
Go ahead.
No, I didn't really think of it like that. After I was spit on, I was attacked right afterwards. So only thing that was in my mind was to defend myself at this point. How many times I'm gonna?
Okay, by the same person?
Correct.
You were
Mind
spit
you-
on and attacked by the person and you were defending yourself.
Correct. From somebody who's attacked me before, and I
What's
didn't get
what's this person's name?
Malkeisha Smith.
What is it?
Malkeisha Smith.
Malkeisha Smith.
Yes.
Let's try to look her up. See what kind of ticket she has. Malkeisha, I don't know. I mean,
And I think I'm not sure how to spell it.
well, let's see. All right. So right after you got the ticket, what about the interfering with safety and security ticket?
That's the same with the same person. With the same person. I was in
You were
class.
arguing with the same person and go ahead.
Well, I was indulging at first. I let it go. She was boisterous. She was making a scene. The teacher told her to leave class. The teachers felt like she messed up count because of the situation. I didn't even know I had a ticket. I woke up the next morning. The lieutenant apologized, like, I'm sorry, something happened in school yesterday. And I said, what happened in school? I was unaware of why I was going to SEG. And I found out it was due to the argument because the teacher said that she messed up count because of it.
It was because of the argument. So you were in anger management at the time you got that ticket.
I graduated anger management.
No, you finished anger management on 5/31. Right
Okay.
after you got that ticket. So did you learn anything from anger management is my question.
Absolutely. I feel like that situation, I left the situation alone. I wasn't even arguing. Maybe the way I carry myself is a little more rough and like I'm a little more vocal than usual, but I wasn't even arguing. I just let her know I didn't want to be bothered. I'm not sitting. I let the teacher know I didn't want to sit over here. I moved my seat. She's still going, antagonizing. I let it go. The teacher messed up the count though, and that's the reason why she said she sent us to SED.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Sorry, I'm touching your computer.
That's
Yeah, same exact ticket. Jeez. Okay. Wow, I'm here. Sorry. Discharge 9/6/24. Okay. All right, thank you. So your story checks out because you got the same tickets. Who the aggressor was, we'll never know, right? And you know, of course, she would probably say the same thing about you. But we did verify that you're telling us the truth about this, the other individual, and the what was the issue anyway? What's the problem?
Honestly, I'm not sure where it stemmed from, where if it's the group of people she hangs around. I don't know what it is.
Did you have a problem with somebody that she was hanging out with?
I wouldn't say a problem, but like, I don't know, it's just different personalities just don't click with each other. Like, I try to stay out the way and mind my business, honestly.
All right, so listen, I want you to answer a question for me. What happens when you get out, if you're walking down the street and someone spits on you and you hit them?
I would most likely be arrested. However,
Okay.
I feel like that's the probability of that happening. I wouldn't be around anybody that would want to spit on me unless, you know, maybe they got a mental something going on, opposed to being in here where I have to deal with these people and I have to be around these people. And I keep asking captain after captain and officer after officer to remove these people from around me or remove me from these people. I feel like that the chance of that happening wouldn't happen in the streets. Honestly, opposed to being in here.
Well, listen, the concerning part for me is you're here because of your temper, right? Your anger problem. That's why you're here.
Correct.
Because you pointed a gun at another driver. You shouldn't have a gun to begin with, and then you're threatening somebody, and the behavior seems to be continuing. So the possibility of it happening on the outside, some kind of confrontation is very likely. You know, you make that choice when you have a road rage incident, whatever, you make the choice to engage or to drive away. Or if someone confronts you and you make a choice then, am I going to stay and argue or get in a fight or walk away? Like, it's all about your choices.
Correct. Can I just say something to that? However, in my defense, I feel like there's no record of me being attacked. Like I got it. There's no record of me being attacked before this and walking away, not attacking her back. And I got out of SEG for it. I wasn't in trouble for it. There's no record of that. And I feel like that's unfair because I feel like I've done that due to the things I've learned in anger management. And in my defense, this is my first fighting ticket. First fighting ticket.
So we'll put the ticket aside and I'm going back to your offenses and why you're here.
Right.
You know, regardless, you have to deal with situations better. You're almost done with the Tier 2 program, right? You finish next week?
Yep.
Okay. What have you learned from that program?
I basically just learned the do's and don'ts of why you shouldn't use, how it affects your mind, body, how it affects your way of thinking, the decisions that you make, and just the different ways to cope when I'm going through things instead of drugs and alcohol.
And what were you using?
Alcohol.
You have a problem with alcohol?
Yeah, that was it. And marijuana.
Okay. How often were you using alcohol?
Daily.
Daily. Okay. Okay. So what is your relapse prevention plan? How are we going to avoid drinking daily so we can function in other areas of our life and be successful?
Staying away from people, places, and things that trigger those addictions for me to want to drink or feel like I need to drink. I plan on just working out like I've been doing it here. Another stress reliever instead of running to alcohol. Reading. I picked up a lot of reading since I've been in here. So those are ways that I've been learning to cope with things when I'm feeling vulnerable.
Okay. What now? I don't know if we ever answered this. Why did you have the gun in the car?
Yeah, we did. I let you know it's because I just had moved out there and it was more so for protection than anything else.
Protection from what?
I was just I lived in a terrible place in Connecticut in Waterbury. It was just a lot going on.
So should everybody in Waterbury carry a gun?
Absolutely not.
Were you selling drugs?
Selling drugs? No.
Okay. I don't know. Sometimes that's why people carry weapons. I mean,
no.
You know, I come to Waterbury every day and I don't carry a gun.
I understand.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
It's valid?
At this time, it's suspended.
Right, then you don't have a driver's license. Okay. What's your plan for, you want to go back to New York? What are you going to do in New York?
Well, I have work already out there for me from my previous jobs. I have employment already that I plan on going back to. And I have housing already situated, excuse me, situated for when I get back there also.
Your aunt, right? You want to live with your aunt?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I just plan on being a good member of the society, paying my dues, working hard every day to achieve the things that I want to achieve.
Okay.
I plan on going back to this program called NADAP. It's a nonprofit volunteering program where I help the at-risk youth and teens stay away from places like this.
What is it called again? A little slower.
NADAP, N-A-D-A-P. It's in
What's
Manhattan.
it for?
Honestly, I don't know. Don't let me lie to you. It's on Lexington Avenue in Manhattan, and it helps at-risk youth, teens, and adults coming back into reentry, and it's another part of the program that helps them from that's on that path to coming into being incarcerated.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, I hope this time you can be successful. I mean, you had 2 full-time jobs at one point, right?
Correct. I plan on going back and doing the same thing.
What? Construction?
Yes.
And you're in the union? Is that right?
Yeah, local 237.
That's in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Listen, you're almost 30 years old. This stuff has to stop.
I agree.
Okay. Ms. Turner?
So Ms. Lord, I listened to the recording of your prior hearing and I took some notes so that I wouldn't repeat myself. Listening to you talk to my colleague, I'm wondering, why were you moving to Waterbury?
I'm sorry?
Why were you moving to Waterbury?
Oh, the cost of living. It was just different. I had more space for less money than I was paying for in New York.
It's extremely unusual for us to see somebody get a DR while in the program that's supposed to help them deal with, you know, regulating their emotions. And, you know, the irony is that you got an excellent evaluation.
Yes.
So I'm kind of left scratching my head. What did you learn in that program that you could have used to handle this conflict without the consequences?
Honestly, I could have used the tools of me literally thinking before I act, which I totally didn't do. Also, I feel like it was more so of the spit than anything else. If I was just attacked physically with her hands, I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure I would have walked away, but I feel like it was the spit that like had me like, I didn't register what was really happening until it was too late when I was on the floor getting handcuffed, about to go to RHU. So it was more so the fact that I have to think before I do things. That's definitely something I'm learning. I'm continuing to learn and work on. So I guess that's the thing that I could have used that I didn't.
Okay. So when you say think before you act, what does the thinking consist of?
If I do like a quick replay of if I do this, that, or the third, what would be the consequences? Or if I walk away now, she'd be the one in trouble and I wouldn't. If maybe I didn't go to this group today, I probably wouldn't be in this situation. Just a whole bunch of different scenarios of how I should have handled myself opposed to how I did.
In anger management, did they talk about the fact that the intensity of the emotion in the moment lasts about 10 seconds? And that if you can tolerate that distress until it passes, then you can use your logical brain to guide your actions and reactions. Do they talk about?
Honestly, I'm not too sure if that was one of the exact lessons, But I definitely do remember going through a lesson with them saying that the intensity of your emotions don't last that long. I remember something that's such like the intensity of your emotions and your actions don't last that long, but the consequences do.
Yeah.
That was something I do remember learning in there.
There's a term in that field called distress tolerance. So, you can be uncomfortable and feel stressed or distressed in the moment and be able to tolerate it so that you're not acting on your feelings, which usually doesn't play out well.
Correct.
Because you need your brain and your logic to be guiding your behavior. Otherwise, you get into trouble.
Yes, correct. It's no lie there. Like I said, I'm a work in progress and I'm taking it day by day. I'm trying. And that's why I feel like even
I don't dispute that you're trying. I think that the crime that you're serving time for in and of itself is tremendously concerning. You have 5 years on the state's deadly weapon offender registry as a result of your choice to be in possession of a gun you were prohibited from having.
correct.
And for the rest of your life, you're prohibited from possessing firearms and ammunition under state and federal law. So going to New York doesn't change anything. You still can't have a gun.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I understand that. I don't want nothing to do with weapons at all.
And I guess it's possibly understanding that someone would feel unsafe and want a gun for protection. It's concerning that you knew you were prohibited from having it as a convicted felon and you acquired a gun anyway. But then, a situation of conflict, on the roads, which can happen so easily, people feeling like they got cut off or, that someone wasn't going fast enough for them. The choice to brandish that weapon and show it to another driver takes it from, a level 2 to a level 300. It just, you were young, you're still young. So I'm hoping that now that you've hit the point as we develop an age that your brain is fully developed, that you can make better decisions for yourself going forward, act less on impulse. But I can't imagine what I would go through, and I'm on the Connecticut interstates way more than I would like to be, if I looked over and the driver passing me was waving or pointing a firearm at me. That's horrifying. That things have gotten to that state in our civil society. So, I think you're certainly paying the price for the choice that you made to acquire the gun, to keep it in your car, to show it to somebody in a moment of anger. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Pope. All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case. We'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Okay, so this is a rehear. She was denied back in March and given 6 months to continue to work on herself. Unfortunately, we have these 2 disciplinary reports. We did receive an explanation and we're able to verify the other party did receive the exact same 2 disciplinary reports. She did take a couple new programs and has been working. You still have a job there?
Yeah, I have a letter from them, but I got it too late to be able to send it out.
What does it say?
It's just my performance and overall programming, and it says for my criteria, attendance, initiative, productivity, attitude, and overall is good. And then they wrote a thing here that inmate Lord has worked in our kitchen for some time now, over a year. She has demonstrated that she can follow direction and work well with others.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah,
What do you do in the kitchen?
everything. I cook, I clean, I serve the compound.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hopefully this was
What's up
a
with that?
lesson. This whole experience for her, and she wants to go back to New York. She has a release plan, live with that, and get involved with the National Association of Drug Abuse Problems program there. Has never had an issue with working. She has a flat sentence, so I think she would benefit from a period of supervision through interstate. My vote would be to grant. Ms. Turner?
It would amount to about a year of supervision, and I think that's better given the serious nature of the crimes and their history. So I would agree to parole her to New York.
Damn.
All right. Let's see. I have to interstate halfway house if needed. Mental health eval, no alcohol, no driving.
No driving.
Yeah. All right. In the matter of Tora Lord, I'm at number 440315. I'll move to grant parole effective today, September 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. You'll parole to the interstate unit for New York, halfway house placement if it's needed, a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary, no consumption of alcoholic beverages, and no driving without your parole officer's permission. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. We wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank
Keep
you.
working on yourself.
I
Thank
will.
you.
Thank you.
That's what's up. Hey, well, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys watching. There's gonna be more to come. I'll be back up early in the morning on Monday. I normally go live about 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm kind of having issues with TikTok, so I gotta kind of figure a way how to get around, whatever issues I'm having. But once something cracks, then I'll go ahead and let you guys know. But like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we're out. A rato.